And welcome to another edition of Calling the Audible.
Season 15, apparently.
Yeah, it is. We survived the Mal Bay.
Yeah.
We did.
And we come back, someone with a ring on a finger.
It's Eagle.
Eagle.
Eagle's got a ring on his finger.
Eagle.
Why would I put a ring on my finger, though? That seems counterintuitive.
I feel like it's you that's getting the proposal. Anyway, we're back.
So congrats, Simo.
Congrats, Simo.
Congrats, Eagle.
Congrats, Eagle, who just engaged.
I will say, though, lockdown 0-2 since the engagement, which we'll get to
Yeah.
later in the show.
Yeah, so we are going to invite everyone for Eagle's wedding. We're looking at April 2024. Is that what it is?
I have to figure out what my invite list will look like, then pick a venue.
We're going to go
and check their
minimum 600
availability.
people, and so most of FPF will be invited.
Well, most of the D will be there then.
Easily, yeah.
Exactly.
How about this? We just get all the teams that have beaten lockdown. They get an invite.
Well, let's talk about the finalists who beat lockdown in the winter final.
There we go. Drop stairs. They're there.
Yeah, they can be the groomsmen.
Yeah. I'll message Ryan Garber see if
Sure.
he wants to be your best man since
Yeah,
he already
Ryan
owns you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Nice.
At least he won a ring. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
a championship ring, but a wedding ring.
That's
Yeah.
true. He bought his own ring.
He definitely
By the way,
did.
Eagle
Mo, good
fashion.
job wearing green to a podcast
I
with
know.
a green screen.
I know, it's amazing. It's just warm in here. That's why. I find it to be very warm.
Just wear another T-shirt.
Whatever.
You don't do you buy clothes or you just wear things that were given to you?
No, all my clothes, though, I swear the FPS stuff is branding. That's all it is.
But you don't need to brand on the show. Like it's there.
It's everywhere.
It's
It's
there.
in every corner and every square.
I'm trying to show I'm a champion.
You're trying to show
Yeah.
transparency. That's
I
what you're
know.
trying to show.
I know.
There.
By the way, question for you guys.
Yeah.
I heard a great question this morning. Whoever has cereal, I don't know if you guys still eat cereal or
Like
not.
twice a year.
Right. But when you used to eat cereal,
Delicious though.
so when you used to eat cereal,
Yeah.
do you put the cereal first or the milk first?
Oh,
Cereal first.
Milk first. You're a psychopath.
Yeah.
You're a murderer.
1/3 of people who answered this poll question said they put milk first, then cereal second.
The psychopath.
I
yeah.
didn't realize there was that many psychopaths, but there are.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, if you're eating cereal, have it in chocolate milk. You're not eating something healthy anyway, so you might as well enjoy it with chocolate milk.
Yeah. So just curious.
Little
to know.
life hack.
So here's the closest example I can give that's not cereal. You make some pasta. What do you do first? Do you put the sauce in your bowl and then you put your pasta on
Jesus
top of
Christ.
it? Or do you put your pasta and then you
Oh,
put
you
the
tell
sauce
me.
on?
I don't know what the protocol is. You tell
What
me.
do you do?
I
Fine.
well,
Rice and butter chicken. Pick one.
But that's butter chicken's not a real Indian dish,
Yeah.
though.
So okay, just answer for the pasta thing.
I
Answer for your
I
crimes.
usually put the pasta first and the sauce.
Yes,
second.
Exactly.
Okay, not a psychopath. Great.
Yeah. So okay, so it's the equivalent of that.
Yeah.
Yes. You put the
Okay.
cereal first and then you put the milk.
Right. Right. Fair enough then.
Yeah, no, you got to be a serial killer to do it the other way.
One of my friends is lactose intolerant who would eat his cereal with orange juice. And I said, you are really crazy.
Someone
Like,
from the Foo Fighters used to eat their cereal with cranberry juice. I forget who it was from the Foo Fighters.
Duke once, our graphic designer, who make these wonderful sets, he once made me coffee with orange juice instead of water. It was atrocious. It was the worst thing I've ever tasted in my life.
Did he know it was orange juice?
Yeah, he thought it'd be cool. He was wrong. He was wrong. It was the worst thing I've ever
I was
tasted.
going to say, I made craft dinner with cinnamon flavored Baileys once. That was interesting.
Oh, I can see that. It's
You are
kinda
you
gross.
are a cooking connoisseur there. Eagle.
But Katie's already kind of gross, so it works.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into it. We're back. Thank you to Brent and what's his face, Iggy
Ignacio.
for.
It was a good show too.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
for
it.
Stepping in stepping in for us as PZ was busy. I was busy with the Alliance, and did a wonderful job. And at least we know we have depth behind us. You know, if one of us go down, you know.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we have the Willie Beemans following us.
When Mo finally decides to kill me, although you put the sauce in first. No, you put the pasta in first, so therefore you're not a murderer. So we're good to go. We're good to go.
Well, let's dive into the co-eds
Yeah.
that we're going to. Co-ed 1, as we are now almost at the halfway point through 3.5 weeks of the season.
So this will be a talking point for later. I've played one game.
I know.
Not
it's
just me.
crazy.
My team has played one game.
I know. You're going to have a boatload of games coming up soon enough. Okay,
I hate
so I almost at the halfway point of the co-ed 1. I'm not really surprised that Easy Fun is in first in control. They are definitely the cream of the crop when you look at the overall talent that they have. And going into the final 6 games for them and the final half for the Petite Fuck, we'll see what they do in terms of how they can control the narrative being perhaps the first seed going towards the playoffs.
I mean, to me, it's not even them two. You got to consider Kiss My Outlaws as the top seed as well, But like Stephen Harper said, it's the first time he's thrown in co-ed, so it's going to take him a second because the concepts don't work exactly the same way. But yeah, they're the top 3 teams essentially.
So when you look at it right now, though, and Kiss My Outlaws is a team that's only played 3 games so far, Piece. So there's the pros and cons that, hey, you played a lot of games, but guess what? The teams behind you may have games in hand. Are you in a comfortable position for Kiss My Outlaws that they can perhaps run the table knowing that they have some real estate to work with to maybe get a top, at least number 2, if not the number 1 seed going towards playoffs?
I think, I guess the 1 seed is fairly important because you want to avoid playing a top seed, one of the top 3 teams as much as possible. So obviously that's super important. So I think the games against Easy Fun will be important. They already took a loss to Easy Fun in the second week of the season. So that's what we're gonna have to monitor going forward. I think that both of those teams are gonna win sort of somewhere between 7 to 9 games. And so those head-to-head games I think will be really important.
I wonder for the bottom half, Fit Squad and Fast Not Furious. Mm-hmm. They're almost at the halfway point. 4 games played. They're both 1-3. I don't know if they can factor in and become threats towards the 3 and 4 spots. Given again, you have Kiss My Outlaws, who, as you said before, top 3 team in that co-ed 1 division this year.
Well, I don't think any of us expected Stephen Harper to get his level of this level of notoriety as a quarterback already in FPF. Like he's already top 10, top 12 in the league. Yeah. We saw how well he did in winter. I know Div 2 was a bit of a stretch at that point, but he's only going to get better, right? So his trajectory is on the way up for sure. That puts them in a stellar spot. So I do think it's a little tougher for teams Fit Squad. And Fit Squad was just in a final, right?
Seth Glenn is throwing for them and stuff, as we know. So
yeah.
he's got some history as well as a quarterback.
And they have an excellent Russian, Hugo Le Pen. But we've seen already Hugo Le Pen was the game planned against his abilities in the finals, and it seems like teams are just more aware of that as well. I feel like on specifically for Fit Squad, Laurence Pointperin is underutilized on that offense because she's absolutely excellent and specifically deadly in the red zone. Hope to see her get a little more targeted in that offense. But there is some discrepancy. There is Justice League as a team, they just beat Easy Fun.
Yeah.
They just handed Easy Fun a loss, right? And so I don't think any of us saw that happening. They did so. Of course, Jeremy White wasn't there to throw, but Samuel Emile Perchat already he beat Kiss My Outlaws. He was the quarterback for that game too. So he's a guy who.
This picture wasn't up last week, by the way, but this is the one we were referring to where we talk about the sick jerseys. These are really nice.
Yeah. I played against Curdley and Kevin Lubin in my first game, and they were wearing them, and I thought they were really sharp.
Yeah, it has red on the back, the half and half jersey.
Yeah,
that's right.
So when you look over at Justice League, they have Sarah Parker, and they have the ability to, use all of their pieces. We talked last season a lot about how Alex Laroche can help shape a defense, and you combine his mind with that of another coach in Kevin Lubin, and then we're seeing already how players like Joanie Bisson and Richard Baudin. Richard Baudin had an interception. She knocked away a pass. Joanie Bisson knocked away a couple of passes as well. So you're seeing the involvement of all their players really come together for Justice League in a game that, again, even with their backup quarterback, they're probably a little outclassed.
And they'll play Easy Fun again on the 27th of June.
And by that point, I think Jeremy White will be back.
And I think there'll be a different storyline, narrative to that game.
But that said, so I know Jeremy White is probably the top, one of the top quarterbacks in this division, along with Stephen Harper, but Sarah Parker's right there too. So it's not like they're not quarterbacked by a top level talent.
20 TDs so far through 4. And I think for her it's a redemption story because it didn't play out well for her in winter season for both the teams that she played for with
well, she only was on women's full
she
time.
subbed in for the men's team, but for the women's side, I know it's co-ed, but it didn't go according to plan. We all thought that team would be up there, but it wasn't the case to be. And perhaps this could be the revenge tour for her, and winning this spring season. And if you remember last year, Pease, in the spring final, she lost in the final, right, in the co-ed. So there's a lot on stake for her for where she wants to be. So Iggy put a question in the script today.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up because we talked a little bit about easy fun.
Yeah, so Lori Willette, he believes that she could be the next great female talent.
Yeah, he was throwing around names like Jasmine Farmer, right? Like that.
Lorianne Beauchamp as
You
well.
know, these are top end talents that they're the first class of emerging stars in co-ed and women's, and Lori Willette may be that next piece. You know, she caught a big touchdown against Fit Squad for 31 yards. She's recorded a sack already. So, but like Iggy, having seen her, was telling me like it's not just a stat sheet. It's the presence on the field. It's her ability. It's her the collection of talent that she has. The different things she can do make her particularly difficult to manage.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know we'll get to women's soon enough in terms of what I saw from the women's league in the last week or so. But you know, we talk about some.
I guess he was referring more in co-ed too, where she's putting a bigger
exactly.
number. But either way, like it's not just the stat sheet, right? It's her whole overall game.
It's the influence that she has on the game that makes her great. And so I just think that this edition of the co-ed seasons 1 and 2, I think we'll see more of the coming out parties for some of these fantastic athletes that we'll get to know more of, right? That come winter season, we're going to say, wow, we're going to circle these 10 names that are the ones to look out for the winter season when we expect to have a bigger co-ed divisions for 1 and 2 going towards 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think that's what women's sports needs is for us to support their star vehicles, and in this case, you know, we've built up that first generation of stars, right? And Jasmine Farmer and Sarah Parker and the like. And so it's nice to see that the next wave already making their way into the league. It's not even a passing of a torch. It's sort of an extending of the rope. What?
Handing off the baton.
Baton! But they're still both holding it. They're not handing it off. So it's a thing that you keep holding on to and you add more to. It's like a barrel of monkeys.
It's like a Olympic torch. You kind of...
No, because it's not passing the torch because they're still there.
Yeah, but the torch is still lit
But lighting the torch always refers to the next in line.
Yeah, but the torch that was lit.
No, but it's not with the. It's not with the.
But still, it's
okay, so it's a figure of speech. Like, you know, it's like when you kill 2 birds.
With one stone.
Yeah, same thing.
Can you do that?
You can get 2 birds stoned at once. That's for sure.
I think Ryan Johnson can do it.
I mean, well, he's done it with 1.
Yeah, he's done it with 1.
Slack. I would take it with the Hall of Fame until he does 2.
Is it like touching someone with glitter on your hand, where you keep the glitter, but now they also have glitter?
Yes.
Yeah, glitter.
That's what it is.
You got glitter on your jacket.
So it's not like passing the baton. It's like glitter fingers.
Yeah, Eagle had glitter on his jacket.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
On Saturday.
That's
Where
great.
did it come from, by the way?
AA came from my
store.
+1.
Oh, okay. I was like, where the hell did Eagle go with his jacket? Like to the strip club down the street?
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell's going on there? Please
Warm up.
welcome Glitter Girl.
Yeah, nothing like a breakfast strip club.
Nothing beats that in Mel Bay. All right, on to the women. So I've seen Red Nation play last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a good game for Allison Sable, and now she was a quarterback. And Villa's a good team, very young team, but Villa's got some players. Speaking to Tara Rakic about it, that there are some players who are going to go play like high-end stage of football, flag football for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, for Momo and some bigger powerhouse teams.
Well, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
But I was just going to say that for Red Nation, I'm a bit. I agree with Iggy's point that I am disappointed by their start. I know they're 1-1, but against a Villa team, and now with them being strangers, they need better quarterback play. They got talent on that roster, and I recognize some of the names that I've seen them play. You know, other sports, they have talent to work with, but I just think that reading the field for Allison Sable has been a little bit tricky for her, where she's seen something open up and then it's not there anymore. So she's got to trust her reads and trust her receivers to make plays.
So we watched her play in the finals, the first ever women's final that we broadcasted, the first ever women's finals. Yeah, no, it's true because the first season was cut by COVID. Yeah. So it's the first ever women's road show. It was a blast, but we got to see Allison Sable in person, and there was her holding the ball on some of her reads. There was struggles with the accuracy. A lot of that has to do with holding the ball too long, where the window's closing and she's forcing it, or she's not resetting her feet because she's staying with the read too long. But we also saw a lot of catchable balls dropped, and that seems to still be the issue for Red Nation.
And look, they got their points off of pick sixes. So
Which was they kind of had some of that last season too.
Yeah, and you can't rely on your defense to continually produce points. Maybe field position, yes. Real estate, yes, but not points. And if they're going to be in that conversation with Villa as being one of the top teams, they need better quarterback play, because you got Gigi Cabillo-Abante, who's been a winner in past years. Yeah. That is a really good receiver. Bartholomew is a really good receiver. Arujo is a solid option for that offense. And against a stranger team who I've yet to see, who I will see coming up in Laval in the next week or so, a win's a win. I'm not going to take that away, but it's not a win that can ooze of confidence to say, yeah, we're back on track to get ourselves focused to be a team back in the finals, hopefully, come August 14th for the finals. Yeah,
it wasn't as convincing a win for a team that, as you mentioned, has a lot of talent. And our very own Lamiz Aljundi plays on that team as well. So you would think that their experience, their knowledge, and their talent would be enough to put away Strangers by more than 5 points. But there are some kinks to work out. And we mentioned it starting with the quarterback, but it's more than that. It's a holistic approach that needs to be looked at. Strangers are a team that we thought were going to struggle coming into the season.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see them go toe to toe, and essentially they forced Red Nation to have to win it on defense, right? Because they weren't allowing Alison Sobel to do what she wanted. Cassie Levy got 2 interceptions in her own right, and they basically controlled the first half, and Red Nation had to come from behind.
Yeah, and for Villa, seeing their first game, I was impressed. But this is gonna be one of those Jekyll and Hyde teams, like the good Jay Cutler, the bad Jay Cutler.
The youth,
but they're young.
Is part of that.
They're
right?
very young. They're a high school team practically, if not most, if not all. But I do like what Gino DeFazio is building up with that core. And I know, not to go back to week 1 because I know it's still in the past, but they're going to play each other, Red Nation and Villa, on Monday nights.
Yeah, that's a good game.
It's going to be a good game because there was an underlying storyline. There's a underbelly storyline that popped up in that matchup towards the end of that game, with Villa having this game wrapped up. They picked off Sobel once again and got the ball down to the 5-yard line. Mm-hmm. Referees asked him, do you want to end the game? Because there was, I think, like 2 plays left or whatever it was at the time. Gino's like, no, I want to play it, because he wanted to give his backup quarterback reps.
Which is fine.
And Red Nation was not happy about that.
See, the way to do it is to explain why you want to play the plays, but always ask the opponent, would you like to play the last plays? Right?
Oh, and they played it, and they weren't happy.
But I'm saying if he reaches out and explains it to the other team, rather than just telling the ref, yeah, this is what we're doing and why.
Yeah.
And give the opposing team the choice. I think that's the sportsman play right there.
Yeah, and maybe it's karma, because LPM beats them up pretty badly, 37-6. And I hope to see them play soon, LPM, in the coming week or so. But that's just what you're going to get, right, for a Villa team right now that's going to learn the ropes that maybe not this year, but in a year or 2 from now, when they're a little bit more mature physically, mentally, from where they are from an FPF experience, that they become.
But I think that the coaching from Gino DeFazio will help that too. Like, they're not a team; they're a team that's coached, right? So regardless of who the coach is, it's going to help you develop in that way. Right. Whereas if you're a team just sort of learning on your own, it does make it harder.
Yeah, and also, by the way, they were in exams, so I wonder if that might have factored in the fact that they're focused on their academics than playing flag football. So we'll see. Yeah. How that plays out. But it should be fascinating. That Monday game I'm circling on my calendar, 8 p.m.
We also saw a women's high school team dominate in women's tier 2 in the winter season, right? Yeah. And that just had to be incredible in the finals. It was one of the best displays of flag football I've seen in my life, men or women. So, you know what I mean? Like depending on their level of experience, they might still be that kind of team. It's just a matter of showcasing them on the field.
Yeah. Again, like I said, they got some good ballers on that Villa team, and I can't wait to see them in round 2.
Yeah, Lorianne Lapointe's really impressive.
Yeah, she really is. But that round 2 game is going to be fun to watch, because I want to see if Red Nation has that edge required to beat them, because they got manhandled 2 weeks ago in Laval.
Lady handled.
Person handled.
Sorry.
Figures.
They got handled.
They got handled. They
You
got
know,
dominated.
I kept catching myself when I was doing the broadcast for women's. When I was talking to before the broadcast, I was talking to Marilou and Sarah. I kept saying, like just like we do colloquially, guys. Hey guys, and it's like it's not like there's not an equivalent, I don't think, when you're talking to women.
No, even when I call basketball games.
Yeah.
Man-to-man defense, and I always catch myself saying, "Okay, I gotta use a different word."
Yeah,
So,
it's for a long time sports have been male dominated, and that's the verbiage is indicative of that, right?
So I always say shadow defense sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's
not bad, actually. I've never heard that, but it's pretty good.
Shadowing defense there. Okay, on to Division E, and this has been one of my favorite divisions. And I told you off air, E and D have been the most compelling storylines so far that I've witnessed. Scorekeeping their games.
I've been writing I've been writing D, and I've been having a blast.
Right.
So I'm with you. The bottom of the divisions are
a lot more fun. There's more teams, right? More storylines, more characters and stuff. And look, people have been asking for playoff format. That will be unveiled at some point, I would say in the next week or so.
Whenever we decide to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. In the coming week or so, that it will be unveiled from the league.
Yeah.
So please stay tuned, and we'll see what happens. But here, I want to talk about this team that I've score kept, I think, 3 of their games so far. Mika FT. They're off to a good start in Division E. They are now 3-1 at this point of the year, albeit though they beat some weak teams, but they did beat Black Label. But I like this roster how it's composed of the quarterback play down to the receiving core. Yes, Eagle.
I love how they have the Ace of Bats as their logo. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're nice. You know what?
Eagle, can you describe what the team name means to Mo?
No, I don't think I will.
No problem.
The fact that this passed the censor, given it it's an Italian word, is already beyond.
Rob, stop checking for team names.
Yeah, don't worry. We can bleep it out.
We don't have to check for this one. You know this word.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's not even. Yes, it's clever, but it's not that clever.
It's not hidden at all.
No.
Like the Minge was hidden.
But
unlike the Minge was hidden.
Like Adam Mantel is a really good quarterback.
He's got his flaws.
He has his flaws, but he hasn't shown them yet. Maybe against better competition, it'll be exposed. But in a game that it was against Black Label and even against Pill Takers, where they were kind of feeling the stress, like the vice grip was being thrown by the opposition, he made some clutch throws. And one thing that I love about the receiving core this year is Matthew Nice and what he's done so far this year. 17 catches, 237 yards. He's been a stick mover for first downs this year for that offense. He's unassuming.
Yeah.
You look at him physically, like, okay, who's this dude over here? Glasses.
But he's been good since he's got here.
But no one talks about him, though, right?
Yeah,
and
he's a really. I've written about it a few times in the Div, I guess 6 articles. Because they were largely, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they were demons in previous season. So Adam Mantel, the biggest issue, just getting back to Adam, is the consistency. Is that, he's got 13 touchdowns, but that's in 4 games. And last season he had 26, which it's fine. It's not quite enough to really be dominant, right?
Yeah.
As we say all the time, in the playoffs especially, you need to score 5 touchdowns. And when you're putting up 26, when you're putting up like 13 through 4 games, you're not quite getting it done at that level.
But
there is some game management that I think he needs to learn.
I do like their IQ though, because they're well aware. Look, Div E and Div 6 teams are not aware of rules, but these guys are.
Somewhere, yeah.
But these guys are like head to toe. They're like, hey, can we? We know what this rule is all about. But the point that I'm bringing up with these guys that a guy like Michael Nudo, the rusher, he's had some big moments on defense rushing the quarterback. He has 6 sacks this year. Had some big moments against Black Label. And at 3-1, I know they're kind of ahead of the gun here in terms of games played here, and the LPC will catch up to them for games played for. But I think right now, Pete, on that side of the division of the conference, they might be the favorites going towards the final 5 games, and perhaps, if not a 1, definitely a 2 seed going towards playoffs.
I don't agree. I've seen this group for a while. I think they're very good. I think they're improving at a great rate. I think they're good, but going to be matchup dependent because of the scoring.
But I don't trust the Pill Takers. They're not good. They're a bunch of tackle guys playing flag
Pillow
football.
talkers, you mean?
Pillow talk. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fair.
Yeah, they're a bunch of tackle guys from John Abbott playing. They're nice guys, but they don't understand the game of flag football yet.
Yeah, I think Scranton Stranglers are going to figure it out at some point. They're, despite the fact that Iggy Magnets is playing pretty decently, the defense hasn't stopped anything, and then he's put too much pressure on himself and it's causing him turnovers. So ideally, if they can play sort of complementary football, which just means playing football properly. I always hate that term, but yeah, if the defense can play properly as well. The other thing is penetrators. Penetrators, they have a rivalry already with the parts of Minky FT that I can't believe I said that on a podcast, that are part of like I said, that Demons team. So
Yeah.
the Demons Penetrators rivalry, Eagle, we talked about, and this is the third season we're going to be talking about these two groups of teams going at each
They'll
other.
play each other week 6, by the way.
And it'll probably be the most entertaining game that either of these teams play. Like
And I
it's
get
always a
that
fun
game. I get the game on Tuesday,
There we
July
go.
12th. Amazing.
There we go. So
Perfect. I look
definitely
forward
we
to
do
that.
need to cover that on the show.
We will.
So I think on that side, I think first of all the other side of the bracket,
Is messed
Conference
up.
B is stronger,
Yeah.
and I think Conference A is up for grabs because I do think as good as Mika FT have been, they're very matchup dependent, and they have not yet faced a team like the only loss they have is to Scranton Stranglers, who put up 30 points. So I think they're going to struggle to put up 30 points most weeks. I know they put up 44 the first week, but
that was against
a weak team, against TB Elite.
a TB Elite
In their first game in FPL.
first game in pissing rain, late to the field, so they were down.
And
Actually,
they got 3 points too.
I think got like 18 points out of it right away. And we'll talk about TB Elite afterwards because they have score kept 2 of their games so far. Nice guys, but still learning the game. Okay, so Vic in the Box. I know you're big fans of Vic in the Box. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Iggy, that's what I was looking for. Iggy was throwing rose petals to Nick Richard as a quarterback.
He's good. He's good.
He didn't show it against in their win on Thursday in Brossard
Yeah.
against Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I agree. I expected that score to be a little different. When Diesel looks to be pretty solid overall. Vic in the Box came out of the game scoring a ton.
But they barely moved the ball though. Pete.
Yeah,
Like,
they had issues. Like when I see Max Bura targeted 5 times and only get 1 catch, I don't think it's drops. Because I don't think Max Bura's dropped 4 passes in his life.
no, but
Right, so like
Richard rolls to his left and keeps himself one option on the left side. I
Yeah.
don't get it.
So,
this guy.
but that's common in Div E, Div 6. Like the quarterbacks need to stay in the pocket a second longer. You know what I mean? Like you have more time than you think, make your reads, and then you can have designed rolls, but you don't roll to the sideline. You want to design your roll to like basically hover over where the slot was,
Yeah.
and then have 3 reads in that window, ideally, if you're using designed rollouts. That's something I think that he can develop. I like his natural ability, which I think something Iggy and I both see. But he's not fully there yet as a play caller. He doesn't read the field at a particularly high level. He's a one-read running quarterback at this point.
So
he just does it well,
You want the
and he
next
has
4 games?
he has a good core around it.
Well, the next 4 games are not going to be easy. Penetrators coming up.
That's a tough one.
QB Roulette, which we'll talk about. Strong defense.
I think they're better than QB Roulette as a
Zachary
team overall.
Albert Gills is going to rush the bleep out of him. You know,
Yeah, but so Zachary Alberts-Gill is a very good contain rusher. I think Nick Richard is a touch too fast for him.
and then for whatever reason, and Eagle, you might have to look at this.
This is him. He's gonna prove me wrong. And get 6 sacks though. By the way,
Yeah,
like
he
he
had 5.
he's going to,
He had
but-
5 against Mountain Goats.
there we go.
Is there a reason why Vic in the Box are playing the Roman guards back-to-back?
Praetorian.
weeks?
Yes, and this is not the only team that happens to. If you noticed on the previous one, Pillow Talkers are going to play Mink FT twice as well. In week 7, they're playing them.
Right.
This is because preseason there were 2 other teams registered for Division E who decided post deposit time that they didn't want to play this season for whatever reason they came up with. And so it was a scramble to try and adjust some of the games. And basically what we did was try and find some of their opponents and match them against each other. And in the process, we got double matchups for some teams because it was unavoidable.
So
I
or
will say though,
something
for the
like that.
teams that dipped, thank you for the money,
It
because
paid-
once you commit to play, you
it
got to
paid
pay.
for Malbay. Let's put it that way, boys
Yeah,
and girls.
yeah. Thank you
Paid-
for
paid for Malbay.
for allowing me to be able to submit my expense report to Rob.
Exactly. Malbay was well kept. So Vic in the Box have 4 big games coming up.
Yeah, look, I think they're about the same level as the Penetrators, maybe a touch better. I think they're better
But they
than
need a
QB
full
Roulette,
roster
and I
for
think
Vic in the
Praetorian.
Box.
Well, that's the thing is they need to have their full team there.
They have
That's going to be because it's already a small roster to begin with. But Craig Browning, Max Bira, Nicholas Sanchez are very, very good.
Browning's hurt though. He didn't play last game.
Who's hurt?
Browning. Brent Bakken got a big
good
INT
one.
at the end of the game to seal the deal.
Well,
Brent Bakken had to come in and play for this team.
hey, you know what though? Like in Div E, experience matters, right? So if you can read a concept and be in the right spot,
Yeah.
like it doesn't take game-breaking speed to make a play. in
No,
Div
it
E.
doesn't. But
It takes knowledge.
I'm just curious because to hear what Iggy said and to see the display, I'm like, woof, I got to see more of a sample size from him before I can say, yeah, he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. Those 4 games will tell us if he's a legit quarterback. So QB Roulette, speaking of quarterbacks, QB Roulette, good team. Nice
They were
guys.
gonna follow the order of the wheel, which, by the way,
No, they weren't actually, which is the
Oh, they
hilarious
weren't?
thing. No, so I know the story of.
can
them.
we
So
can we make it a forfeit?
Last week we had the quarterback wheel for roulette going on.
Mhm.
Apparently, it was going to be Zachary Alberts Gill as well as I can't remember who exactly it was.
I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
Anyway, whoever it was. But then Zach got COVID, so couldn't go, and the other quarterback didn't make the game essentially. So they ended up going with the 2 quarterbacks of which the wheel selected. Which I can't even remember. Honestly, guys, like 5 minutes after the show's done, it's done. We go.
Yeah, I know.
brain
Is
dead. So they actually
is the
did do
website
it.
down for anybody else?
No, website's
No,
rolling
we're
and
good.
going, man. We are coasting along here. But the thing is, they've gone with like 4 quarterbacks so far.
That'd be
Yes, we know that. We talked about it last week.
So
wasn't a name.
it's
It
in
was
the name,
it was a
but-
plan. Like that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, I know because I score kept their game and I was like, man, I got to change the quarterback every 2 plays here. But is that? Are you okay with that? If you are on that team, would you want a quarterback that you want to get comfortable with and moving forward?
I mean, so because of my injury history, for example, I tend to have another person who can throw on my team.
Mhm.
Often it's willpower.
He's very powerful.
He is.
Power in his
But
way
like,
through.
it's still understood that like the best build for the team is with him as a receiver, right? Because he's a
He's
dominant
got that
receiver.
power surge.
Yeah. We're talking about his penis, right? But yeah, so he has his penis surge, and the thing is that
Very powerful.
this is a team. This is a team that doesn't have, I don't think, a true starter. So I think it might hurt them in the playoffs.
I need a power name.
Yeah, that's not related to the team we're talking about, though. So we need to get you back on track.
I'm just trying to get you on that.
Never.
But
Because
as
that
you're
would
saying-
require me listening to another person,
For
Mo,
sure.
which will never happen.
But as you're saying before, in terms of what they need of the roster, though.
It's just like we saw it this week. So we've seen it and it works, and that's great. This time around, it didn't. I love the concept. I worry that by the end of the season, you don't have enough reps with anybody to be successful if you do make the
You're
playoffs.
taking away reps from quarterback who might be deserving of that position.
That said, Eagle, let's find out who's playing QB for them this week.
Oh, I don't have the
Jeez,
wheel ready.
What did you think was going to happen at the end of that?
I figured we did that joke once and we're not going to do it
No,
again.
we're gonna drive it into the effing ground.
Bleeping ground here.
That's what we do
There you go.
on Calling the Audible. Get that wheel ready.
Oh, I have to work.
Let's do it. Yes.
Sorry, Eagle. I know you had your pinnacle moment on the weekend here, but you have to get back to reality now, my friend.
Like, listen, Lovebird. You gotta do your job.
He's just getting lazy now.
I know,
Engagement ring is on. He's like,
Oh, nice. See, look how smart I am. It's still there.
Perfect. He didn't close the window.
So, are we going to pick the quarterback for
Yeah.
them this week?
The two of them. The first one is going to be
Oh, Vincent.
I can't read the last name. Vincent Barcelou. Vincent, you're the first QB.
Hold on,
of the
before you spin it again, if we land a Vincent again, do we have to do
he
it?
plays the whole game.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, that's what roulette is, man. You don't know.
Here we go.
You might hit red twice. And there we go.
Oh, yeah, it is Vincent again.
Hey, full game by Vincent. That's what the roulette has decided, guys. We'll see. We'll see if they actually do it.
All right.
We'll see if they do it or if they're cowards. Those are the only two options.
Minimize that roulette wheel again.
Yeah, just keep it around.
Yeah, exactly. Hovering around your desktop. So words of advice for TB Elite and Mountain Goats. 2 new teams in the league. And I've score capped TB Elite their first 2 games. A high school team about to go into CEGEP. Unfortunately, they've had a bit of a rough go. I know they had a 4-foot win on Sunday against Black Label. due to a quarterback cap being busted by a black label. But one thing similar to every team, and you guys know very well, when you're a new team in this league,
Yeah.
you're always experimenting quarterbacks. But the problem with these guys is that they're experimenting with quarterbacks almost every play.
Yeah, you can. You need to make a decision and commit for a game or two, and make a decision to see if that's going to be your quarterback moving forward. I have a little bit of advice, and hopefully they're listening to the show. First of all, you can reach out to any of us, to myself, to Iggy, to Mo, to Eagle. We're all super happy to help. Eagle and I actually take pride in trying to help new teams. So if you have questions about defense, for example, Eagle's a great resource. If you have questions about offense, despite every single player on your team is more talented than I am. The only reason I'm a Division C quarterback is I'm a very good play designer, so I will help you. I'll help you call some plays. In last season's articles, if you go into the archives of last season, there is my Division 6 article, which every week I not only chronicle the division, but I had our graphic designer design a play that is called typically an FPF, and I broke down how to read that play. So it's not just that play mode. It's not just the play art.
Mhm.
It's to teach them how to understand how to run that play, how to call that play. If you look at Ignacio Manzanetto, Iggy Magnets, he's running this offense in Division E. If you look at Marc-André Desaulniers, he's running that offense in Division D, for example.
Right.
Across all divisions. These are concepts that work in Division 1. They work in Division 2, Division 3. So it's the same game played at various levels through the division. So it does work. You have more time than you think in a pocket. Don't take as many deep shots as you think you need to. And learn to play zone defenses. And we can help you with all of that. We're happy to. We'll even come to the field to help you if you feel that would help you. We'll be there. We'll take time of our schedules and be there to help, because I think it's really important. Because the quicker you start to see success, and not even in wins, but just to be competitive in games, the more you'll enjoy the league.
And they got to stick with Brett Goldenberg as their quarterback. He is their best.
You've
option.
seen them, so I'll let you.
He is their best
This is
option
which team? Which of the
for a TB Elite.
Okay.
He is their best option at quarterback for his arm, his accuracy, and they're like, oh, they said to me, we need a mobile quarterback. I go, no, you don't. And Dylan Taylor was actually efficient in the game. I go, look at this guy over here. This guy plays high level. He's not mobile. And Dylan's like, I'm not mobile, but this guy learned how to read the field. That's all.
I am the least mobile player in the history of the
Yeah.
league. In fact, all the quarterbacks I described, or even if we talk about it, like we talked about earlier in the show, Stephen Harpersod, right?
Right.
Doesn't have a particularly strong arm.
Right.
Not mobile. Rashdi bin Abdelkader, another example of that, right? We talked about him in previous episodes.
Exactly.
Got by with just intelligent play design and the practice of reading progressions. That's all it is. That's all this game is.
And just FYI here, Eagle, I just want to borrow you again here.
Yep.
So on the team page for TB Elite, they only have one player of quarterback stats when they had a whole bunch that threw in the last couple of games. Just to let you know, FYI.
Okay. It probably has to process.
But the game was on Sunday.
It probably has to process.
That takes 24 hours.
Did you give them a uniform violation?
You guys corrected it, though. It's popping up on the
Yeah,
box
I corrected
score.
it today. It's going to take 24 hours.
Oh, thank you, Eagle. Took you that long, huh?
Well, no, it's
Well, if the
processing is
scorekeeper
next
doesn't
day.
give the violations immediately,
I'm
maybe.
following protocol.
Coward.
Following protocol.
Who's the team that I said was? Okay, you're as cowardly as QB roulette.
Exactly. All right. On to Div D. And we got a huge fight coming up. Well, huge football game coming up this weekend.
Huge football fight.
Yeah, huge football fight in the game. Glory Boys, Kiss My Vultures. The two best teams, perhaps, in Division D.
To be clear, let's hope it's not a fight.
No, it won't be a fight.
Yeah, I
no,
know.
they're the
Just
two
teasing.
good teams. They're
Just
two
teasing.
good guys,
Yeah.
group of guys playing this team here. So, Kiss My Vultures and Glory Boys. 4-0 at this point here. Kiss My Boys. Sorry. Like, I score kept Kiss My Vulture. And seeing our homie play for them.
Well, he's on the team. He's not normally the quarterback.
No, he's not. But he actually showed some ability. Our boy Iggy Magnus.
Yeah,
as
he's really
quarterback.
good.
And I put in our group thread the super slow-mo throwing motion. It's pretty good. But my biggest concern for Iggy, which I brought up to him on our day of scorekeeping, he always looks right. Like, he's afraid to go left. Like, he threw the one time he threw left, it was for a touchdown, ironically enough. But
Yeah.
he's a right-handed guy going to the right side and not trying to read the field as a whole.
Not a Beyonce fan, clearly.
No, he's not.
I think this has to do with a couple things. I think it's more specific to Kiss My Vulture because it's not a team built around his abilities,
No.
and it's not a team he's thrown to a lot. So he's probably just choosing the side with the stronger receivers, and also he's a quarterback who doesn't reset his feet easily. So if he's already setting to go right, he doesn't reset to go left with great ease. That's why he'll run sort of a lot of flood concepts and make decisions and make it difficult for the defense to manage, right? So that's what he tries to do. He's been very successful at it so far. I will say, for example, the game against Santal, I'll explain. I actually wrote this part of my article already, so I explain in great detail. There's things Centaur does, for example, on defense that Lockdown, who lost to them yesterday, should have taken advantage of. Yeah.
Look at the disdain on Eagles'
And
face.
even in talking to Iggy, he came back to me. He's like, yeah, says, to be honest, there's a lot more that I could have done to attack what they were doing on defense. But first, he's developing his skill not only as a quarterback, but as a person who manages the game, right? Like that's an important component of the game. We're not saying the pejorative game manager. We're talking about someone who manages the specific moments in the game appropriately. And so that's it. The team is also built for Dave DeAndre. And Dave DeAndre, he's coming off a championship season. I think this is a really good core around him. Alexis Dubois, James Drysdale, Steve Besner,
Phil Roberts.
Phil Roberts. This is a good team, like top to bottom. And when you have Iggy as a receiver, of course, you have that too because he's a good receiver as
6
well.
of 13 as a pass catcher.
That one time, it was a really, really rough showing.
On the flip side for Glory Boys, you look at their receiving core.
Yeah, Jason Cassandra and them boys.
Well, you got Venturino and, of course, Moniz, who've now done very well. They're 24-25 for 11 touchdowns. So when you look at Kiss My Vultures and their defense, a guy like Abdel Martin is going to be key for them, I think.
My bad. I put Jason Cassandra on the wrong team.
That's right. No
yes,
problem.
Massimo Moniz was the guy. Was the actual person I was thinking of. Massimo Moniz.
14-14 so far, 100%. Perfect.
He's really, really
so
good.
Does a guy like Abdel Martin become a big factor for the defense because he's their best cover corner at his age. That would be on assignment of babysitting this guy on Thursday in Laval.
I think he's probably gonna be focusing on Massimo Moniz. Massimo Moniz is a guy, he gets a lot after the catch, and he uses him a lot of different ways. Whereas based on the few times I've seen him play, Antonio Venturino is the big play receiver. Massimo Moniz is the all-around receiver, so I think Martin gets that matchup. I don't know. That said, like they're a very zone-heavy team, so it'll be more concept than matchup in a sense. But I think a lot of the pressure comes down to rusher because Michael Hiotis is really good at running the ball, but he's also really good at throwing on the run.
190 so far this year, I think.
Three,
a big part.
But whatever. Like he's got a rushing touchdown. He's thrown for 19, so he's 20-3. That's a great ratio for 4 games.
Almost 7-1 practically here.
And he's averaging the key 5 scores a game.
Which, for Kiss My Vultures.
Oh, you mean, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Could they put up 30-plus points?
Yes. Yeah.
First
of all, they did with a backup quarterback.
Right, but with Dave DeAndre, they can. But if Iggy...
Iggy put up 37 against Blue Dreamers.
Yeah.
As quarterback.
Right, but for all intents and purposes, this is a much more younger team, a more agile team with better athletes to work with.
Than who? Than Blue Dreamers?
No, I'm talking about Glory Boys.
I understand, but I'm saying Kiss My Vulture put up 37 against Blue Dreamers, who are insanely young and talented.
Yes, but...
They're not playing well, but they're talented.
But if he keeps with the script of this going to his right only, can he do that?
Well, no, I don't think... But
that's
I think...
the point, right?
But again, I think Dave DeAndre will be playing next game, and that's not an issue.
I hope not.
Because also, again, the receiving core gets better when you have Iggy there as well.
6 of 13.
Yeah.
So Trap Stars, Lacite...
That's how good he is.
Yeah.
Even though he only caught 6 and he dropped 7 passes.
I think 3 of them went for touchdowns.
Clean drops. He's still effective.
He is, definitely. So Trap Stars, Lacite, and Fourth Schlong, they are probably the best teams in their division, maybe in their own conference, but maybe the entire division. Because, look, I score capped Trap Stars against Lacite yesterday at Loyola, and the Trap Star defense was phenomenal. They look... The scoreline says that they won by a score, which is true. But they were up 12-0, and Lassite pulled off a miracle to get a pick six and change the game's complexion and brought it down to 4 plays, which they lost. So I look at these 3 teams. They have their strengths. They have their weaknesses. Trap Stars in particular, I love their defense. Tenacious, smart. They have this auxiliary defending where they come in groups and they take out the ball carrier. My biggest concern about them is the Cooper Young is great when he's on the run, but he's got to figure out how to diversify his playbook.
I disagree.
Because there was throws that he made over the middle that were.
I don't think that's a playbook issue though. I think that's just inaccuracy for someone who's not a natural quarterback.
But here's the thing though, when I say that, a guy like Namer who came out with clutch plays in the first half, had some drops in the second half. They got to figure out how to get that guy to open up everything else for the rest of the team, whether it is for the best here in the FPF world. In my mind, Kyle.
So I completely disagree with you, mostly because you're wrong. The reason the main reason I disagree though is they have 6 players with double-digit targets. He throws to everybody. It's a concept-based offense where he's making choices. Eagle can speak to, having played against that offense, how difficult it is to manage his playbook. It's when they lose, it's never because the game plan was poor. It's never because they weren't ready. It's never because of the plays that are drawn up. It's the execution, and it's just he's not a natural quarterback, so he's learning how to throw on the fly. And what I mean how to throw is like how to throw with the rusher in your face, how to make a throw and run, how to sit there and make a throw around the rusher, like all these sort of finite details, these fine details about the game. And of course, we also know that they're not always going to have Ryan Garber this season.
No, he's not there. He's going to miss.
Right, so
he may not be eligible for playoffs.
That's it. But given the fact that they're attacking it with all these different receivers, I think that makes them really dangerous. Eagle, what do you think? Like regarding who's right about this, about their playbook?
No, absolutely, it's you. I mean, the playbook is actually quite good, and it's just the execution aspect, right? If you
it relies, but the playbook relies so heavily on execution.
Oh yeah, exactly that. And if you have a defense that can pick up on the trends and really try and put pressure in the right places at the right time and force the reads to go differently with pressure from the rush coming in. I mean, you're a quarterback. Like if you don't know how to read through your progression quick enough, you don't have a lot of time to make a decision. You know,
you have 2 seconds.
Yeah,
you have somewhere between 2 and 3 seconds to make your read. Right?
And as you go from lower divisions upper, you play higher talent. Those windows get smaller and smaller. You need to know the playbook. You need to recognize the defenses. You need to execute. And sometimes you make a mistake, and that's all it takes.
There's 2 teams you left off your list, though, that I just want to mention really quick.
Go for it.
That I'm really impressed with so far. Killer Rays making the jump up after winning the 6th
Yeah, they had a rough game
D
last
title.
but
generally,
they
like,
found their
but they're moving up kind of 2 divisions here.
Yeah,
right. They go up. They went from playing in 6D, the 6D championship, to by the way, it's a podcast because my dad's calling. 6D. They're going from 6D final to playing in Div D, and Div D is kind of like a little bit tougher than let's say 5 is normally.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're 4-1 and their offense is still working because they have such talented receivers, to me is huge. And similarly, Dirty Dogs have been dominant. They've basically shut down. They played a tight game in lockdown week 1, but then since then they've allowed 6 points in 2 games. And
they'll play Dirty Dogs, Killer Rays on the 28th of Tuesday.
That's game of the week for me.
Oh, on my field as well.
There we go.
All right,
there we go.
Perfect. All right.
You get all the action. Well,
Exactly.
I need a game report for that one. So
Exactly. Just text me. I'll do that for you. No question.
Super appreciated.
But so when I saw them play against Lassite, they got frazzled, but then they recovered against Santar and Laval, where even though Santar made a comeback in the first half, they kind of pulled away. But now they're going into their final, I believe, 5 games left in their schedule.
This is Killer Rays?
Yeah, Killer Rays. They got Dirty Dogs coming up, primetime.
I had the Dirty Dogs page open, so I was lost for a second.
Yeah, sorry. Undertaker, Blue Dreamers, and L8. So L8 may be banged up because they have some guys on the IR. Who knows how it will be by July 26th. But that game against Dirty Dogs, I think, will be a good test for them.
And Undertaker's, Marc-Andre runs a smart system. He's been better since when he started because he took some time off from FPF. Primetime's got a good defense.
Oh yeah,
as well. So and they're familiar with each other, having played in the finals. That's a finals rematch, isn't it, Eags? Killer Rays versus Primetime.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Obviously, and Blue Dreamers, again, we talked about their talent as well. So, like, they do have a tough sort of second half of the season. My God, they've already played half of their schedule.
I know, it's crazy.
It's wild.
I think there's one team that will play Game 7 by the end of next week, and then they'll be off for 2, and then they'll play the final 3 weeks of the season. It's crazy. Anyway, another story for another day. So The Undertaker.
It's the story of every podcast because we're literally trying to just keep our head above water as we go.
It's like when you look, oh my God, they played so many games already. Okay, so when you look at this team here, former All-Stars, they were in Division 2 in winter season, and we're definitely out of the weight class.
Who's this, right?
Former All-Stars.
Yeah.
You said Undertakers.
No, I meant to say former All-Stars.
Yeah.
I had Undertaker's on my mind because he played against L8.
So that's where they were from? Okay.
Yeah. So, no, former All-Stars, no, different. They were in Div 2 back in winter of this past year.
I did not remember that.
And they dropped down. They were a different name in winter season. So now they're in. I think they're in the right division for what they have. And my question for them is, have they found a quarterback in Alex Papineau to be their guy? Because that has been the biggest problem for this team's franchise since this past winter, where they couldn't figure out the quarterback play. Obviously in the wrong division, but now with them winning 2 games so far, they're 2-2 after 4. They have a good group of athletes. Again, a bunch of tackle guys now converting to flag football, and I think they're starting to pick up concepts and reads and just understand how to play this game now than where they were. I'm not saying they're going to go out and run the table here, Pease, but they could be a tricky out once we go to the halfway point, moving towards the final months of July.
Yeah. So what it comes down to for former All-Stars is exactly that. And the thing with Alex Papineau is they won the game, but he wasn't great. He completed less than half of his passes. He completed single-digit passes. He only threw for 3 touchdowns, and he got intercepted. Fabrice Robillard was, or I guess Fabrice.
Fabrice, yeah, nice guy, by the way.
I mean, yeah. But, like, he's not particularly worse than that. He's been kind of the same, maybe with a worse game that had more interceptions, but he's completing more passes. The offense was a little more efficient. I don't know. I don't know if it's been solved. I know tackle guys take a second because the play calling and the progressions work very differently in flag than they do in tackle. We say it all the time. Is it these guys were supposed to dominate when they join FPF? They never do their first couple of seasons, right? So.
But the next 2 games are tough though. Glory Boys, and they got.
And that'll be a different kind of test for Glory Boys because they are very athletic. And then
next
V-Town.
3 games. Sorry, Kiss My Vulture as well.
That's true. Yeah.
This case scenario, they go 0-3. They're 2-5. I think if they get 1. I don't know where that one's going to come from. If they can somehow extract 1 win out of those next 3 games, I think they're in good shape.
But they end against Threat Level Midnight and Bandits are good, but Blue Dreamers and Threat Level Midnight are struggling. So if they can get one of those wins, they still end up, I think, 500.
I think they are in good position to be in the playoffs, unless they have a complete collapse, like Architects of their own downfall.
And again, they're a team that can be matchup dependent because they might just out athlete you to a win, right?
You would hope so.
If they can win every matchup and just play man defense and there's no one for the quarterback to throw, that's a win.
For sure, 100%. So quickly, I know we spoke about V-Town quickly, but they've played 2 games so far.
Lucky. They're lucky.
Very lucky, right? So they have at least 2 games in hand against the teams above them. Is that a position of comfort or a position of desperation? Because
I like
who's 4-0?
Oh, sorry. When I was thinking just against Sandra, he's on V-Town. He's really good.
Right.
It was through him I learned that Tony Sergusa died today, I believe. I think he posted on social media.
Yeah.
Some sad news, unfortunately.
Sad.
But Jonathan Velasco, I really like as a quarterback. But it's so hard to get a feeling because, again, they're moving up from Division 6. So it's a step up to go into Division D. They lost to Kiss My Vulture, who we expect to be very strong, right? So there's no shame in that. And they did so by putting up 27 points, which is a pretty solid game. And then they dismantled Blue Dreamers, who I thought would be a tough matchup for them. Instead, Blue Dreamers just seemed completely out of it. They then go on to play Threat Level Midnight and former All-Stars who we're not sure about yet, right? So they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot where they can come out of this by Canada Day and put together another couple of wins. And then they also have Glory Boys on the 30th as well as part of their doubleheader. So that game is kind of tough for them, and they're very familiar with each other, both having played Division 6 as well.
Yeah, so you got 3 games in 7 days coming up, which is coming thick and fast. But then you circle, you said before, like that, the last 3 games, I think, can
is
really...
thick and fast an expression?
Yeah. It is. It's used in soccer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's no way anybody knows that.
When they describe schedules,
The
they
8
go,
people that watch soccer, yeah.
Yeah, when they describe a schedule, they go thick and fast.
Yeah.
Because they're coming in. But the final 3 games could really determine if they're going to be in that conversation with Kiss My Vultures and Glory Boys, and how it can be a 3-horse race for the top 3 seeds in that side of the conference.
Definitely.
So that's why. So the middle pack, tricky, but the final 3 can definitely be in their favor.
According to the Collins Dictionary, thick and fast means things happen very quickly and in large numbers.
Exactly.
So
they have a lot of games coming up very quickly.
So which one is thick and which one's fast? The quickly or the large numbers? Which one's thick and which one's fast? I guess fast has to be quick. So large numbers means thick.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
thick and fast.
So when I eat 3 pieces of lasagna, that's too much lasagna. I ate thickly.
You definitely did.
I know. Now you know.
On to Division C.
That's a great way to end Division D coverage.
Exactly. And that's how we wrap up Division D here.
Completely distracted by a phrase I never heard.
Yeah, it's used in a lot of soccer terms. All right, we look at Division C. Iggy wrote in his script points here for us that AJ Gomes threw.
Thank you, Iggy, for doing a bunch of extra work for us all the time.
Yeah, it was very nice of him to do
You're
that.
the most beloved member of the staff.
Yeah, very appreciative from all of us here.
I'm right here.
No.
Iggy,
I said he's appreciated.
Iggy's much appreciated. You are appreciated, but he is very much appreciative by PZ and I.
Who's the least appreciated staff member?
This guy. This guy
No,
right here.
no. If we had to pick one,
It's like people don't even know my name.
like when you say staff, talking about media, or talking about the entire scorekeepers included.
Well, scorekeepers don't need to be
Scorekeepers
appreciated.
aren't people.
Yeah.
Okay, so staff media. So I fall in the staff media
Yeah,
category.
you're fine. You're safe.
I'm
You're safe.
safe. Staff media. That's a good question to rank it.
Well, Joel Mendelson, your writer. He's not appreciated because not that many
No one
people
knows
know
who
him.
he is yet.
But he's excellent. His work's been great so far.
right.
Yeah, but who do we really put no
Oh,
respect
Frank.
on their name?
Frank.
But he's not staff anymore.
But when he was terrible.
So you don't appreciate him.
No.
All right.
I can say that with great.
Do you what do you appreciate more? His quarterback play or his media articles?
his pictures in his articles.
There we go. That's true. You did add some good media.
Copy and paste. Copy and paste. Save as. Article picture.
So you were saying Div C.
Div C. All right. So AJ Gomes threw against ECW. Did not have a great game here. The importance for Blitz Buddies and their quarterback play to have their guy in place, because you weaken yourself by having AJ be the quarterback of that team.
Yeah.
And
It's if not the best receiver in FPF, second or third. Like it doesn't matter at that point. Just putting hairs. Like he's one of the best in all of FPF history, basically. So
What's
yeah,
his numbers now, Eagle, for AJ's receiving stats.
yeah. Dig it up while we're
Yeah.
I'll find it.
So yeah, obviously they're best with Félix Goulet. Although Félix Goulet, he does have some development to do as an FPF quarterback as well. Were you surprised Alex Barazzoni didn't throw? Or can he not throw in this division?
It was
maybe?
the cap issue. That's what I'm trying to figure
It's
out.
Div C. He should be able to throw in Div C.
Yeah. I think Barra is a good quarterback.
Did he play in this game?
I'm not too sure if he... No, I don't think he played.
No,
because
he
I
wasn't
didn't
there. Okay,
see him. No, I
so
didn't see him yesterday.
well, that explains
That
it.
solves why AJ went as quarterback.
Yeah, and we've seen Matthew Samara have some struggles at quarterback in Division D as well, so maybe that's why.
But is it a bad loss, though, to lose to ECW like they did?
No. ECW's good, man.
Very good.
They're undefeated, right? They're amongst the top of the division. Jeremy White was here for this game, unlike Easy Fun. And, 2 touchdowns on the ground with that duck move. That Eagle and I debated on our
The
drive
Kenny
back as to
Pickett
whether or not it's legal. He threw 3 touchdowns.
By the way, everyone's using that move right now.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are using that move.
Iggy looks like he's gonna tear a hamstring doing
Yeah.
that move. But yeah, like their receiving core is ridiculous, as we all know. Theo Living, Etienne Laurent Gervais, and Samuel Emilio Pelchat. There's always a guy on this team who doesn't really go off, but there's always 1 or 2 guys that completely go off, right? So
Josh had a good game, too.
they're so good across the board. They're so good at the quarterback position, and then defensively, they're no longer the weak defense ECW, right? So they have all aspects covered. To me, they're the best team in the division. So, like, does it matter that they lost to the best team? Not really. They lost a tough game. Like, I think Blitz Buds would be happy never facing them again.
They might have to.
If they do, they're
Might
better
have
off.
to.
They're better off having their quarterback, because you need AG Gomes as a receiver in that game.
And you will play them in 2 weeks, actually.
Yeah.
Or next week, I beg your pardon. Oh, my God.
I have 100 games coming in the next 4 days.
Yeah, and it brings up the next question, right? So you guys have played how many games, Peas? One.
This is the third episode of Calling the Audible. My team has played one game.
One game. So you guys are literally in the middle of the playoff window of 12 teams at 7. So from your vantage point, because, again, this season's been chaos at its finest, is it an advantage or disadvantage that you played one game?
I have inside information. I can tell you it's a huge disadvantage because we're going to be missing players at different parts of the season because it's summertime. But we kind of built a team that way, so we knew that would happen. But it's also a comfort thing. We're like, these teams are clicking on all cylinders, and we played one game. We haven't played in 2 weeks. So, we take the field tomorrow. It's hard to predict the results.
Thursday, because no one knows in this podcast.
Oh, yeah, it's true. Today, I guess, because
Thursday.
you're watching it today. But yeah, so we're taking the field on Thursday, and like, I don't know what to expect because I've thrown 15 passes all season. The guys have run 15 rounds. The defense has played one team. It's we're not yet fully formed. It might cost us. It might cost us down the line.
Well, the thing is, the next 3 games, AF1, Beer Belly Brigade, Blitz Buds.
But there's no easy games in
Vultures.
Div C. There's no easy games in Div C, so
none.
it doesn't matter. Like, all the games are hard. I remember looking at the schedule like, that sucks. And I looked at the standings like, that sucks. Like, everyone's good. Everyone's good in this division.
If you guys go in the next 5 games 3-2, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Given when I say with 3-2,
we probably make the playoffs at 3-2.
Right.
At 3-2 we're setting ourselves up to make the playoffs.
I'm not saying to insult like you guys can't win all 5. I'm saying that
We will,
because
but
of
go
the
ahead.
roster turnover of guys who may not be there because of whatever vacation and the fact you've not played long. But to be 3-2, that means you'd be 4-2 at the 60% mark. I think that would be probably in strong position to get into the playoffs at that moment.
It's just tough, man. Like AF1, Beer Belly Brigade, Blitz Buds, Vultures, ECW, Ravens, Stoics, Infantry, Commission.
But Beer Belly Brigade, I've score capped I think now 2 of their games. I think it was. Oh, sorry, I score capped their first game that they had. I don't know what it is, but they've been sort of twitchy since the playoff run of winter season. Like they've not found their rhythm, their form.
It's also up. It's up a division, right?
Yeah.
So we played them in the fall. We played them in the winter. It's not the same Hot Sauce Sports that played them. So there's that. But I don't know. I was super impressed by them. I was singing Fafard's praises last season. Every time I saw him play, the guy was scoring. The offense was absolutely clicking. It seems like their issue right now has been their defense, which surprises me because they have a lot of athletes and they can play a lot of different defensive coverages because of that. Like Mathieu Pilote is really, really good. They have Felix Fortier also, solid player. Like they have length, they have speed, they have pretty much everything.
I want to take this moment to point out number 44, top right. That is the person who ruined P's perfect
so mean.
game.
You guys are so mean for no reason.
Oh, in the first game, I remember I score capped that game.
Yeah, it's true. You did.
I did. It's weird. Whenever I score P's games, he throws for like monster numbers. What was his passing yards against in the first?
It wasn't that many. It was like 171.
Why do you keep bumping his numbers up? Mo?
I don't pump his numbers up. I go by what's on the iPad.
No, but we had a lot of turnover on downs and stuff, so there wasn't a ton of yards.
But if you notice, like, there's a trend. Like PZ has like really good numbers when Mocon scorekeeps them. So I'm just saying. Yeah. Maybe you need me to scorekeep your games.
Get off your ass then.
10-0. Here we come, baby. Quarterback of the year.
You're taking a shift tomorrow. You're taking a shift tomorrow, Brossard.
I'm a TSN tomorrow.
Don't care. Not anymore.
Where's Mo? He's gonna do stats for us.
I'll get you canceled. No problem.
No worries, Mocon. I'll get you canceled. Anyway,
that's what friends do.
That's what we all do for each other. We have each other's back. So, like, for the teams, and again, because of the unbalanced schedule, how many teams are playing a lot more early on here, of the teams have played 4 games or more. So you have
some teams played 5 in this division.
Some teams play 5.
Some teams are now past the halfway point of the season.
Right, at least 4 games or more, right? Yeah. So you have Tough Lungs, ESU Timberwolves, the Commission, One Step Closer, who are all a combined, I think, 3 wins together. Are they in trouble, Pease? Tough Lungs, ESU, the Commission, and One Step Closer at 4 games past.
I think ESU's in trouble. They're they were missing some players, added some last minute pieces. It doesn't seem to be working yet. It might be too late before it does. The commission have had a weird season where when they're all there, the team looks really good, and when they're not, they obviously not the same team.
Yeah, I think Gino's lost 2 games in the last 5 plays.
Well, but that's it. Like there's the when their whole team is not there, it's that the margin becomes really small.
Yeah.
And when the entire team is there, they can afford to make a mistake on offense or defense, and it's not the end of the world. But they're playing really it's a high leverage game that they're playing.
But they're in trouble because their next 3 games are Easy W, Blitz Buds, Stoics.
But again, there's no easy schedules in the
No, there isn't.
And
I don't
like
know.
right now, if you're at 0-4, like Tough Lungs, that surprises me. They're at 0-4. You're looking up like who. If you know, it's like the whole thing. If you're looking for the sucker at the poker table and you haven't found them, it's probably you.
Yeah.
Like if Tough Lungs is looking up and like you're like, well, who can we beat here? Well, man, you've only scored 77 points in 4 games. It's not working right now, you know. And it surprised me because they were so good. They were so good. I want to say last spring and even in last spring. That's the last time we saw them.
Yeah, and I just think that for by the way, Jordan Rossi said to me, you guys didn't pick up on ESU Timberwolves? I go, I did Alpha Mac. I did pick up on that.
I hate sports movies. I think they're all
he
terrible.
asked us because he goes, you guys didn't pick up on it. I go, we did.
I
Don't
did
worry,
too.
we did. But for the commission, they've lost some close games. You're right about Tough Lungs.
By the way, I love back in the 80s and 90s where they wouldn't get the rights to like schools and it would be Eastern State University.
Of course,
Sorry,
the school, right? Because you don't want to.
Because you couldn't get NCAA rights
But then they would play Michigan, Georgia Tech. Like, wait a minute, hold on, they're the good, pristine schools, but we're the bad boy schools over here. But see, for a team like Tough Lungs, I caught their game the other day at Loyola. I don't know what's gone wrong for Justin Lerner this time around. To not have the same success as you made the point before, because you talk about his team from winter season just this past year. 4 weeks ago, they're playing for the finals, right? Mm-hmm. And different roster, different personnel, but I don't know why he's not being able to excel with this.
It's not Justin Lerner throwing.
I know, but Matthew Lerner. But
Justin did
throw. But the overall team, though, like I don't know what's gone wrong for them to not have the same success rate of where they were in years past.
I mean, they're not scoring. I don't know how much of that you put on the quarterback, but at least part of it has to go on him. Like, he's thrown 6 interceptions through 3 games. He threw 9 all of spring season. You know what I mean? So, like, I believe he was an all-star that season. I know he has 2 all-star seasons. Just looking at the numbers, I would imagine those were the 2. It was spring 2021 and spring 2019. They're largely the same team. Bizarro Gray has become a reliable target. Dan McDazian is great both ways of the ball. They add Brandon Aylward. Of course, we all know the ridiculousness that is the cheat code of Justin Lerner. Although when Matthew Lerner's not there and Justin's throwing, again, there's the whole thing where you take away your best receiver, put him at quarterback. It makes it difficult. Olivier Delaris, who I really like. Greg Kurtzelis also. Like, there's so many guys on this team who can make plays.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. I don't have a simple answer other than they're not scoring, and I think part of that falls on the shoulders of Matthew Lerner. Although I don't know exactly why that's been the case. What like having seen him play, what would you say is different about his season?
I think it's just connecting. They're off by a beat. Mm-hmm. There's like a glitch in how they're just missing it by half a yard, or by a forensic touch of where it should be. And you think about their losses, they've been relatively close in games until teams pull away from them. But I just wonder, can they recover at 0-4 here? Because, again, you said it before, it's as tough as this division is overall. It might be a saving grace because there may not be teams pulling away, and they can sneak in as a low-end seed.
The only other team they're playing that's struggling is Los Penetradores.
Right. But they can sneak in as a
which
low...
Brent Bodkin refused to pronounce on last episode.
Really? Why? What happened?
Los Penetrators.
But if they get it as a low-end seed, I wouldn't want to face them because of how...
it depends. If they're playing this way, then everyone wants to face them.
For sure. But
right? Like, it depends on... It's not the same Tough Lungs team. It just hasn't been. And it's infuriating because they're one of my favorite teams in FPF as people, but also, like, to watch, they're usually so much fun, and they haven't been that. They haven't been that dynamic at all. Of the 77 points, they scored 24 of them against top season this week. And I want to make sure of the next thing I'm going to say. Yeah, and Justin Lerner was quarterback. So like, there's something up with Matthew Lerner. He'll fix it, I'm sure. It might be too late.
Ben McMahon is having a phenomenal year. 25 touchdowns, no INTs. So will he have more rushing TDs than INTs?
I mean, I don't think he's going to end with more than 2 or 3 rushing TDs. Right? Like, he's actually not running that much. He's running about 3 times a game.
But when he does, it's devastating.
I get it, but it's Div C. Like, you're not going to break off a lot of 30.
Technically 5 times a game, 20 attempts.
Oh, so it's more than I thought. Sorry. Okay, so it's a little bit more than I thought. He still only has 1 touchdown, though, on 20 attempts.
But he has no INTs yet, right? So are we taking
I know, but
rush?
do you think he's going all season without throwing an INT?
He's going to throw an INT at some point.
I think he'll throw a few. My guess would be he ends with 4 or 5 interceptions. And
All right,
two.
let's look at their schedule. Where is it going to be?
Montagnard really good. Montagnard really good.
Hot sauce, one step closer, commission beer belly brigade. Which is the game with the INT?
It might come in the next 2 games.
He's going to throw in this week.
And is it? But here's the bigger question: is it his fault or is it his receiver's fault?
Phil Roberts' fault.
The thing is that the team is stacked. Ben's great. I would say it's likely to be not even a misread, but a mislocated ball. A ball just thrown too far, or
To
a ball
Phil
underthrown to Phil Roberts. Just
the
the wrong depth. No, I think the kind of interceptions he tends to throw, Eagle, is when it's his second or third read, and the ball doesn't go exactly where he wants to place it, and it's a tight window. I can see that happening.
So if you had 5,
but again, I can see it happening 3 or 4 times all season.
Right.
Like, he's QB of the year. It's just give him the award.
So if you had 5 plays left in the game, and you'd pick either, and that's in this division, McMahon, Sean McGrath, who I really like a lot, Jeremy White, or Corey Wolofsky.
I have news on Sean McGrath, by the way. He's hurt his wrist,
Yeah.
his shoulder, whatever it is, so he's going to be
awful.
switching to receiver for a bit.
It's too bad because he had a really good game for them.
He's been great. There was like a playoff run where they made the switch to him at quarterback, right? If you remember, and he was great the entire way through. So
it's too bad because top season I think have found their groove with him at quarterback.
I'm just happy top season isn't tank season no more. When they tanked away into the lower tier of the playoffs,
They were champions though.
Yeah, well, tank season. So who would I choose?
5 plays left.
To me, it's Corey Wolofsky. And he's not been himself this season, right? Like he's not been great. Obviously, the team not having Jalen Greaves is a huge adjustment because you can just throw the ball anywhere near Jalen Greaves and it's
like
a
a
catch.
magnet towards his hands.
But Corey's ball placement is excellent. He throws him more zip than you expect him to. He's a great play caller. And to me, the key difference is Corey Wolofsky never gets rattled. He's always calm in pocket.
I would go with as you mentioned the point, Eagle, with McGrath out for the foreseeable future.
But let's say he wasn't. Like, just talk about their talents rather than the situation.
Okay, so minus the injury,
Yeah.
I would go with McGrath.
Okay.
I like his play calling a lot with top season. He's got a lot of characters on that receiving core, and guys, not saying divas, but guys who want the ball because they feel like they can go to the house. But he made some throws. The last 2 games I've watched him play and score capped, either or. He made some throws that weren't passes but throws that you said, my God, like that is a legit throw. Like he made a throw to his brother that was bracket coverage and placed it in an area where only his brother could catch
Like the Eli Manning to Manningham Super Bowl catch, like just
something like that, but
over the corner
yeah,
in front of the safety.
It was more over the middle, right?
Okay.
Where you had a defender below in front of him and a defender on top of him, and the placement of the ball was this perfect that it just landed in his hands over the fingertips of the DBs for a touchdown. And then even though they had a couple of pick sixes yesterday, or sorry, Tuesday, since this podcast is going Friday, whatever,
Thursday morning
perhaps. It's a shame that he can play because I think he would have made a big difference for this top season offense. And now can they adjust without him moving forward to still have the same clip of success being at 4-1 at the halfway point of the year?
Oh, is Paran throwing? I imagine.
That's a good question. Who knows, right? I mean, it's a shame because, and I even seen him yesterday. He mentioned, I do have an injury, and he didn't say to what extent. But as Eagle made the point before, now I'm not saying it's going to hurt their playoff hopes, but man, you got vultures, stoics, AF1 behind you.
You have Div C again. It's a tight division. Eagle, who's the guy you're running with in that situation? Which QB?
I really don't know.
Yeah, I know. That's the point.
I really don't know.
That's the point of the discussion.
You can put Kwesi Gordon Mall in, right?
But you're not a big fan of him, though.
No. I'm saying for those 4 quarterbacks in a single elimination game.
Oh, those 4. I thought you were talking about literally like who does top season put in to replace him.
No, 5 plays left. Who are you picking as a quarterback to win you a playoff game?
It's also hard not to go Jeremy White. Like they're all good. They're all good.
I think I'd go Corey Wolowoski. Just consistency.
Yeah. So we're all not going with the quarterback of the year in Ben McMahon, who's going to win quarterback of the year.
You know what, Pease? I would, but he's been in that moment and has not won the game in that moment.
Like I mean, look in recent history. It's the whole sports media thing of like he can't do it until he does it, and then we find somebody else to say they can't do it. But yeah, Ben's great. But to your point, Eagle, they had 2 opportunities in back-to-back seasons to win a championship, and they were unable to do it. Right?
I blame the uniforms.
I like the uniforms.
They brought those. They flexed up their uniforms for the finals, and it cost them the finals.
Okay.
And I'm sticking to my story with that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, what's your excuse? You didn't change your uniforms.
No, but they did. They're nice uniforms. I agree with Peasy.
Yeah, but you also don't have a championship in the last few years, so
that's fine though. But I have more than you though.
Also true.
Barkley, he's our Charles Barkley.
You wanted in black and white when there was 6 teams.
Sure.
Original 6.
Sure thing.
So an FPF Facebook poll of the single elimination playoff game, McMahon versus White. Ben got 53% of the votes, 34. Jeremy got 36% of the votes, and a couple other people were added, like Simon Dagenet, Jared Buck, Simon Blay, etc. But the bulk of the votes went to Ben McMahon.
So
which again, for a guy who hasn't thrown an interception, I understand.
Yeah, they won't play each other in the regular season, so the chances are in the playoffs if they do meet up. Yeah. McMahon versus Jeremy White, and it'll be pretty cool to see that play out with those 2 quarterbacks. How that can be, right? They're both different in styles of play, but both exciting in their own way and how they run their offenses. Yeah. So, all right. So for Division A and Division B,
no, they're 2 different divisions, Mo.
I know, but I put them together as one. Anyway, Division B, JYD start to the year has been very unorthodox. I don't know what has happened to this team. I score kept their game not too long ago.
Yeah, I called them the best team in the division week 1.
Yeah, you did in our fake power.
They
rankings.
haven't won since.
It's our fake power rankings. Though.
Yeah,
so it doesn't count. It's only a fake power ranking.
It is fake. All other power rankings are totally real.
But I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, Piece, on where they've faltered. Like I don't know why it's gone wrong for them this year compared to.
Can we start with the fact that their roster is extremely inconsistent?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Well, Paul Pierce has yet to play a game. I think that's hurt them.
Jesse Dupuis is there for a game. Jordan Rossi is there for a game. Sean Shemergian is there for 1 game. Brandon Robinson doesn't show up at all. Sio Laving, 2 games. Like, this seems like they had a plan going into the season, and then once they got the schedule, a bunch of guys are like, I'm out, or I can't make these ones, or I'm hurt, or I don't know. There's got to be a story here that we're not seeing because, yeah, inconsistency seems to be the trend.
They, when I saw them play against Touch a Catch, they were just schooled, right? But then you have a guy like Kinsley Adams who's had a good start to the year on defense for what he's done as a pass rusher for them this year. And he's got 7 sacks already through 3 or 4 games. But I don't know how Rossi can get this team to play at the high clip.
Well, getting them to show up is the first step.
That's a good step. But, I mean, even when they're there, can they all play? And like Evan Desjardins is a good player, but, he's not your game breaker. He's not your game breaker.
Sean Submergent's only played a single game.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's healthy or not. I have a vague memory of someone telling me he's hurt, but I don't remember if I'm
you
just
don't want to
imagining
offend Submergents, man, because he weren't happy with you about 7 years ago.
I don't care who's happy with me.
I remember they came up to me. Oh, man,
that's
not
good.
happy
They
with
came
you.
up to you. Cool.
I was like, yeah, I'll let them know.
Don't care. But that said, I expected more out of Michael Kazaka so far.
He's done okay, though.
He's been fine. But to me, he's a guy who can be a the prototype of him can be a game breaker, right? And as for the rest of the team, I don't know what's happening. I don't know why guys are missing. I don't know how much of it's related to injury. I don't know how much of it is, the schedule came out and it didn't work for people because, again, the schedule is condensed and it's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of teams. They might just be sort of catching the wrong end of that roulette, and they've lost games where like if you look at the last one, they held B Raves to 24 points. Not bad. They just didn't score that game,
Yeah, mind you, B Rays also have their issues, right? Joe Mario's not healthy right now. He hasn't played quarterback in a while since the injury against the All Stars a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you give them a good run for their money, but could they turn it around though, Pete? Can they turn around to get themselves into that conversation of being a 4-5 seed than where they're currently positioned at the bottom half of the playoff structure in Div B?
I don't know because we don't have the complete information. Like, if their best roster is there, I still think they're the best team in the division. And if they're not, very clearly they're not competitive. So they're missing. I think if you have the receiving core of the two Submergents and Ivan Desjardins and Michael Kazaka, I think that's insanely dangerous. But how many times have they been on the same field at the same time?
Not often.
So that's the issue.
So brand new plays Moretti Crime Family on Thursday.
Tomorrow or today? Yes.
Tonight, whatever, or this past Thursday.
The 23rd, pre-Saint Jean.
I'm really intrigued by the Vince Nardone defensive play calling with the Joy Taylor offense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to remember, and I wish we had GM here because GM is like an almanac when it comes to this. Eagle, you might remember. Maybe P, I don't know. P's may not remember.
7 concussions, man.
Thank you. So Eagle, you might remember this. I remember Vince Nardone playing against Joy Taylor's offense and being frustrated by it, and I think he had some words about it. So in this edition,
I know he hates it.
Yeah, that's it. He wasn't a big fan of it, right? He gets pretty annoyed by it. So,
but he's as smart a defensive play caller as there is.
I guess we're gonna call someone up right now.
Let's find out.
Find out.
See if I can get him on the phone.
We're calling him Vince Nardone.
I'm going GM.
Oh,
Yeah.
GM I know. So
he's staffish.
Maybe
he's the most unappreciated staff member. We'll ask him that too.
GM?
Yes.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, GM. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm well, thank you.
Hey, GM, you're on Calling the Audible. I think by law we're required to tell you that. I don't know why Mo didn't tell you that.
I've been called unprompted too.
Yeah. How's it going, buddy?
I'm well, thank you. I'm just sitting watching the finale of Sopranos.
Nice.
Perfect.
Your TV won't be broken, I promise you.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to ask first and foremost is we had a conversation about the most underappreciated staff member in FPF. I just said, hey, I think it's actually GM. So what do you think? Do you think it's you? Or do you think somebody else gets less credit?
I don't know. I've really been digging. I don't know if it's underappreciated, but I've mentioned it to him, so it unfortunately has gone further to his head. But I was really impressed with Dan Lazara over the winter season.
But I feel like everyone was. I feel he was accurately appreciated.
Accurately? Okay.
I liked him.
Maybe it's not as appreciated because it's to the level of the staff, but this is from someone who used to kind of chirp us regularly.
Yeah.
And our retort was always like, well, why don't you put your money where your mouth is? And he did.
Yeah,
so I think that's what's impressed me most about it.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to ask
underappreciated. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Hit me.
So we wanted to ask quickly here. So Brand New's playing the Moretti Crime Family, your next game. We're trying to remember if you have an elephant in mind here. Does Vince Nardone despise the Joy Taylor offense and how it's executed?
I don't think he despises it. I mean, it's definitely knocked by people who come from more of a football background. So I feel like Vince would probably fall into that category, but I don't know if he despises it.
So with you guys getting yourself into the flow, what is a key thing for you to try to contain that offense? Because it's chaos within chaos of a chaos of a play.
So just looking at the offensive stats, the Moretti Crime Family run more plays per drive than any other team in Division B. So I think that by forcing him into tight windows and making difficult throws is where they'll get where the defense will get those turnovers because of the fact that Joey needs so many completions to march down the field. Like each time he throws the ball against the brand new defense, he's rolling the dice.
Okay, GM, we're going to let you go. Can you leave us with one historian fact that a lot of people may not remember or something that you find interesting?
I would have had to think a little bit more on that. I was really glad to post the winter 2009 D1 finals, though that kind of is what brought me down that rabbit hole. And it's nice to see that game get traction. And Pease had mentioned maybe, like we look too fondly on the past and are the Hurricanes false kings. And Keyshawn Thompson, right from his mouth, was saying that by and far the Hurricanes were the best team that the finest have ever faced. So that's a nice little reminder.
Listen, that's my take, GM. I can't change it.
You can't change a wrong take.
I admit I'm wrong. Are you out of your mind? This is sports media. It's not what we do. We don't learn from research.
It's all good.
Anyways,
GM.
guys, thanks for giving me a call.
Talk to you soon, buddy.
Brother.
Love you, dude.
Bye-bye.
You know what I should have asked him?
Oh man, he seemed pretty annoyed by that.
That's fine. Just grumpy ass GM.
He seemed pretty annoyed that we interrupted the Sopranos ending over
You
there.
know what I should have actually asked him, though? Who is Andre Knights?
That's true.
Yeah.
Who is Andre Knights?
Who is Andre Knights? So when I look at this game now, and how patient do they have to be with this offense? Because Joey Taylor will just surgically destroy you, knowing that if he has you by he's going to take it to the house every single time and just squeeze the clock and just go on a 14-play drive for a touchdown after touchdown after touchdown.
Yeah, so the main thing is that what GM said, and I think that's an interesting way to look at it, is every time he throws the ball, there's a risk of a turnover because of how talented that defense is. So I think if you look at it through that prism, I know the teams that I was on that gave Joey Taylor the most difficulty were the most physical defenses. I haven't seen brand new play, so I don't know if they're more of a finesse defense. I don't know if they'll go and interfere with routes.
No, Vincent don't calling it, and
but again, he's a good play caller. But it's the execution of the concept, right? Like, are they not really bump and run because you can't do that in FF, but are they picking up routes 3 yards in and bumping guys off the routes? And that's the way to beat Joey Taylor's offense.
Well, you think about their roster. Chris Meillard is going to get physical. Darnell Cavis Riley is very good, smart player.
I don't know that they're physical defenders though. Like I know that
Chris Meillard could if he wants.
He could, but he's a fast guy and he's great at breaking on the ball. He's great when the ball's in the air. I haven't seen enough of him on Deed really to know like if he's going to be bumping guys off the routes.
If Marco Bertoli's available.
No, that's a good piece for this kind of game. That's a good pick.
If he's available, Robbie will be there. Robbie Robinson, Vince Nardone should be there as well. I'm just intrigued by this matchup because both these teams, how they're built up and stuff. I think Robbie Robinson has really found his groove. On a 2-game, winning streak here. If they do get by Moretti crime family, I mean, it sets up well for them to maybe put together a few more wins in a row before they finish off with a relatively, I won't say easy schedule, but a winnable end of season where they could have 7 wins, maybe 8 wins if it plays out into their favor. Yeah,
and they're also taking on brand new's taking on Moretti crime family as a team who's like Moretti crime family is struggling so far, right? Like we talked about how this team might be well built for Joey Taylor or Iggy and Brent did last week anyway, but it's clear that Joey Taylor's not there yet. He's not. He played co-ed, but it's not the same pace, and he's not used to playing. At the speed yet.
He's a little bit rusty.
It's gonna take him a couple of weeks, I think. So they're catching him kind of at the right time too.
So at 5 games, BYOB has played 5 games. If we get the schedule up here, Eagle, if you don't mind, please. Thank you. They are 3-2, second place. So they play the most games in Division B so far. How many wins do you see, Pease, at this point, at the halfway point of their schedule? Because it's not the easiest schedule that they have left. And to see where they are,
is BYOB?
BYOB of 3-2. They had a tough loss, which I was there for.
I mean, they're at 3-2 at the halfway point. That's about what you want. That's they took a close loss. They could have easily been 4-1. But sorry, you're painting the picture about that loss.
Yeah, they had too many mistakes, a lot of miscommunication where Matthew Rene thought they were running a particular route concept, which should have been stopped at this point, but then it was overshot by the whatever it is. So I just think that now at 3-2, they do have games that they can win. I can see 2, if not 3 more wins left in their schedule and be 6-4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if Junkyard Dogs don't pick it up, that
That's
could be a win.
That's the one I have right there.
Morty Crime Family again haven't won yet, so
But
we'll
see,
have
that's
to
gonna
see.
be
We'll have to see
fascinating,
also
though.
is Joe Meyer still hurt by that matchup with B Raves?
Yeah.
Touch and Catch It, we've seen some inconsistency from them. So I mean, it's not like a, how can I put it? It's not like a killer's row ahead of them either.
No, but that you mentioned physicality, right?
Yeah.
They love being physical. Osmond, Ryan Perry.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a bad matchup for Moretti time.
Yeah, and that's down
what
the
I'm
road,
saying.
right?
Like
But that's down the road, though. Right?
but
they get picked on, though. They get picked on a lot.
Touch and Catch It, I feel like we still haven't seen as good as they can be.
Yeah.
And will we even see it this season, essentially?
Yeah, I think. But here's the thing: like Steven Osmond's a guy who's played in this league a long time, and teams just pick on him. Like if you look at his tackle numbers, they're always high, but there's a reason why it's high, because they get him isolated, and bam, it's like for a first down, bam's for a touchdown, and I wonder for BYB if they can mask those deficiencies that they have on defense and make sure that he doesn't get exposed.
Sometimes you have to make the choice of putting your best offensive threats on offense and your best defensive players on defense, right? So, like, if it's not helping you to have him out on defense, then this is Division 2. Like, it's not about feeling. So you got to make that move and put him on the side of the ball where he can be more effective.
I wonder if he can be more effective, though, right?
Well, I mean, he's a good receiver.
Yeah, I meant to say Mateo Osmond. That's what I meant to say. I beg your pardon, Mateo Osmond.
I was thinking
yeah,
Steven Osmond. I was like, wait a
yeah,
second.
sorry, it's Mateo Osmond. That's
We're
what I meant to
thinking
say.
of different people.
Yeah, both McGill guys, and I had Osmond in my head. I meant to say that, Matty Osmond.
Matty Awesome.
So that's the guy I was referring to, that he, even though he comes out with a play here and there, but he's been left isolated and he's been exposed at times.
The other thing is, I know Mathieu Lapage and Sebastian Simon are really good, but they've been targeted 59 times combined, and 30 and 29 respectively. And then the next most targeted player is Ryan Perry at 13. Like, you have talent on this team. Use the players you have. Use Vincent Benjamin. Use Phil Cutler.
They need to use Benjamin.
They do. Like, what's the point of having this guy who's freakishly athletic to not do anything?
Your voice just cracked.
Yeah, I know, man. I ran out of water.
You can drink some water then.
I ran out of water.
Oh boy,
It's gonna be a tough show.
we're almost there. We're almost in the home stretch. Eagles are gonna find you some water there.
Produce me some water, please. Thank you.
Here's a good question for you, Pease.
Wait, are you complimenting your question on the front end?
No.
Here's a great idea I have.
Here's a question for you. AJ Gomes, we know, is the pinnacle of the receivers.
Yeah, he's up there.
What do you rank Anthony Brisebois?
Thereabouts.
But is he number 2, or do you think he's?
I don't know. I find it. They do different things really well. They do some of the same things really well. Brisebois' speed out of the cut is stupid.
His touchdown ratio is
because he's big, he's fast. Like, I don't know. Sure. I don't really understand the point of ranking guys 1 through 5 or 1 through 2 or 1 through 10 or Mount Rushmore. All these hidden ways to ask the same question.
Your voice is really cracking.
Like, I am dying. I've been talking for a long time.
Yeah,
I had a show
cracking
before
over
this too. I don't know.
I think it's.
I think it's about the same. Like, if you put either one of them on a team, they're going to be the best receiver on almost every team they play on, right?
I'm just mesmerized by. Thank you, Eagle. I am mesmerized by Brisebois. Even though he got hurt in his game on the weekend, hopefully he's gonna be healthy enough for the season left over. I just think that he can just blow by receivers.
It's that speed out of his cut.
Yeah,
it's like the acceleration once he plants is.
And I think his rating is
ridiculous.
super low. By the way, I think it's not that high, but
Low for his
he's
level.
located.
He also he played quarterback a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
He didn't play every season either. He was at the University of Sherbrooke. So
I mean, low.
yeah, like it's it's fine for the division. It's almost 90 on offense.
Yeah, because Jeff Rosenblatt told me that he was able to winter season. He was able to add him to his whatever.
Depends what the rest of the roster looks
Yeah,
like.
exactly. So, AJ's still the best in my book, but I think Brisebois is definitely in the rearview mirror of.
I think it's the same. It doesn't matter.
It's gonna be fascinating to see how Brisebois plays
Yeah.
if he comes out there. So Joe Mayer is banged up. Braves are kind of
B-Raves?
Braves. D1.
I like B-Raves as a name, by the way. It's so stupid, but it's perfect.
Yeah,
It's so good.
But it's great.
It's so good. Anyway, yeah, go
But-
back to Braves. Sorry. I just haven't said it yet. I enjoy nonsense, and it's a nonsense name. It's perfect.
They're 2-3.
Yeah.
Could they survive if Joe Mayo is out for any
No.
longer?
No. You need a Division 1/A quarterback.
William Trottier is the quarterback for now.
Sorry?
William Trottier is the
Who beat Mo Problems?
Yes, by one.
Yeah, like William Trottier is fine. He's not Joe Mayo.
So who's
Like-
rushing for them now?
It was Joe Mayo.
Exactly.
That was a bad choice. Actually, I don't know.
I still don't know where he got hurt in that All-Star game against Braves. I don't know where. I was trying to replay in my head. I go, where did he get hurt? And Trottier took over at second half and beyond, and hasn't looked back.
do,
I don't know.
do you
maybe,
know?
maybe he was playing too many games, pulled something, or twisted
Perhaps.
something.
But I think it's his hand, if I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Somewhere in the middle part of the body.
Mid hand.
I heard something else, but
He has stigmata.
We'll stay in that area, the hand rib cage area.
Do you know who's rushing for them?
Don't know because I didn't scorekeep their game the last
Okay.
week or so here, but they're definitely
Smart pickups with Vincent Morissette and Guillaume Belin, Nicky Fernacho as well. Like they're finding ways to retool on the run, and it's.
But can they be sustainable though?
How did they beat Mo Problems?
That
That to me doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm sure Dan Lazaro was not happy about that loss.
No, it's Intanvilda threw 8 times. I don't know. Was there a UR or OC?
Maybe.
Perhaps there was, but with William Trottier now at quarterback, who knows how many more games he will be there. The schedule does ease up where they do play the Apocalypse twice coming up, back-to-back weeks in
No, doesn't look
KGP.
like it.
So I'm just surprised that Dan Lazaro didn't throw the entire game. Maybe he was late. I don't know.
Maybe.
No, he was there at the beginning.
I've less I don't know what happened in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. in this
You
game.
look bamboozled by that. You look.
Follow Brett Botkin's article, and he'll tell you what happened in this game. Because I don't understand it. Sorry, go ahead, Mo.
So for them, they do have Apocalypse back-to-back weeks. So maybe you have the luxury of saying, Joe, we don't need you for these next 2 weeks. We can beat Apocalypse and then get you back for July 17th when we go up against KGP, then Party Crash.
Oh, there was an OC. That's why it's not marked as penalty. It's marked as objectionable conduct. Yeah, so Lazar got kicked out for 10 plays. That's why.
why. Okay. So yeah, that's gonna hurt your chances.
On a third down, too, which actually then Tam had to take over on fourth down and went incomplete, which sucks.
Is this at the end of the game?
No, this is in the first half.
Okay.
But still, like it takes you out of your game, out of your element. Like you're gone for 10 plays. 10 plays for a quarterback is a giant amount of time to be missing.
Well, it's a lot of times, especially in the first half when you're using timeouts to gain
Yeah.
yourself an extra possession before second half.
Not to mention Braves scored within 2 plays of that fourth down, so then, yeah, Tam had to run 7 more plays, essentially.
Oh, that's the worst.
Scored a touchdown, though.
Yeah, no, that's the worst though, right? You lose your top pivot in Lazaro for 10 plays at the key moments. It's like a race, like a pit stop, right? This goes wrong, and that's what happened for them. But I'm for Braves, if they can just survive these next couple weeks here and get themselves back to 4-3 or 4-2, whatever it might be at that moment, then I think they should be okay. But again, that injury is going to hurt them for a while.
Yeah, it's gonna affect them. So we talked, in previous weeks about the Julien Paiement going with KGP. I kind of like that as teams move up, it forces guys to make choices, and like it makes you wonder, like guys will play with their friends, right? So like let's say like a Vince Nardone team makes it to Div A and Div 1. Does Chris Miard leave the Finest, for example? You know what I mean? Like it really does shake up the division.
It's happened with the Finest.
That's what I'm saying, but like it does shake up the division, makes things more interesting. It's what we've always, not just us, but the players in Division A, Division 1 always want more competition. That's how you get there, right? So like, I'm curious to see how Braves adapt, and we're also seeing them go to guys who've played lower divisions like Vincent Morissette, who obviously we know his talent, but hasn't played high division FPF before.
No.
So it's cool to see them pulling from lower divisions to get guys who fit the cap, guys who can be effective. So I find that fascinating. But I do have another topic, Mo, that I want to bring up really quickly
Go for it.
about the All-Stars. Is this the best rusher we've seen
Alex Blais?
play for the Finest / All-Stars? Old man Matt Kerouac injured.
Talking about Alex Blais as a rusher?
Yeah.
No, he's still adapting to the
I
speed.
mean, 3 sacks. Key sacks against Party Crashers as well.
Oh, that game, yes. But the games that I saw him play, in Lachine, and there were 2 Sundays in a row that he played in Lachine, which was against Braves and then against the Apocalypse. Good for him that he had a couple sacks on the Monday the day after. But it's still going to take him a couple weeks to get used to the high level of quarterback play.
So, Eagle, in the pantheon of All-Stars and finest rushers, where would you put Alex Blais?
As a rusher,
Yeah.
I would say definitely top 3.
So, like, Kerouac's Hall of Famer, right? So,
Yep.
he's there. And then who else
But
rushed?
Kerouac's more of a D-boys guy, though, no?
But right now he's All-Stars.
Yeah, now he's an all-star. But I'm saying when you bring finest, though, in that whole equation, right?
Yeah, well, I'm saying both rosters. Both.
Okay.
But you know what
teams.
it is, though? When I think of the finest, the first rusher I think of is Matt Kerouac because he's had so much success with them.
Including
And
that
then
ridiculous
I don't know who else to think about.
That's
So
fair.
It's got to be Alex Blais next.
It's got to
I
be
guess.
Alex Blais next,
Blais,
yeah.
Chris
There's
Miard.
nobody else that comes to mind.
Chris
Chris
Miard.
Miard, yeah, there we go. It's 2.
That's
And
it.
Alex Blais, and no one else.
Yeah, there's my top 3.
Yeah.
It's perfect top 3 there.
Well done, Eagle.
I do. One thing I do like about this All-Stars team is that you mentioned
Yeah.
about the parity of rosters. They have Shallcross on this roster, Blais on this roster, and they're still rolling along with the defense.
Yeah. It's, there was a moment in time where we saw Flag 1 Sack Win Championship. It kind of looked to me, and just in conversation with Kevin Wyatt after the championship game that they played this past winter, that it kind of had like Golden State Warriors vibes.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like,
right. I was thinking
No,
about
we're
that
still
right now.
here.
Yeah,
We're still here. We're still awesome.
We don't go bleed back.
There was
anyone
there was
else.
there was a bit of like a chip on their shoulder of like, we're still us though, right? Like we're still finest, we're still all-stars, whatever you want to call it. Like we're still
Yeah.
that group, that family of team. Again, it's been retooled. It's not what it once was, but they're making it work, right?
Yeah, Quade Johnson's like the Andrew Wiggins of this team.
Quade Johnson, by the way, in that finals had an absolute beauty of a catch. And perfect ball placement by Kevin Wyatt. But yeah, like this is a team that is scoring 40 points in the last 40 plus points in the last 3 games. Defensively have been solid. I'd like to see when they play on back-to-back days against Mokan, more problems. I want to see if Dan Lazara can get over that All-Stars hump.
Yeah, I think Lazaro wants them in the finals though. I don't.
Yeah, but
a win in the regular season would be nice.
they
but-
lost them 3 times.
and the way they've lost
in
them though,
in
it's
winter.
been crazy.
Exactly.
The
So
Hail
like,
Mary.
but that's it. Like he must be pulling his hair out at this point, right? So I'm curious to see when they get to that part of the schedule what that looks like. If more problems sort of solve the issues,
I get so
the
confused
slight
with that
issues
name.
they've had.
I'm like, man, am I in problem? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're right though. I think for Lazaro,
I think actually it's a description of my life because the more the more problems I have.
for sure.
So-
I think for Lazaro, he's trying to find that unicorn, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to pretty much chase that unicorn in Kevin Wyeth. And yeah, you're right. Those 2 games in mid-July will tell us where they stack up. But look, I'll give you this before we move on to the next thing here. Lazard did beat the All-Stars in the spring playoffs outdoors in dramatic fashion. So it isn't like a hex of like 6-7 years he can't beat them. He's done it.
for sure.
He's done it.
It is a team that he has struggled with, like
Yeah.
the Wyeth versus Lazaro matchup, and it's kind of like you have the young guy sort of making his name for himself, right? And then the old guard still saying, "Well, it's not your turn yet. It's not your turn yet." And like I feel like Lazaro more than anything really wants to.
I wish we could get the video. I don't think we
Get
can
there,
because of
you know?
copyright issues. There's that video, that classic video when the Broncos are playing the Raiders and the Broncos are smoking the Raiders with Peyton Manning as quarterback. And Brock Osweiler went to go get his helmet, and then he thought he was going to come in at 48-16 fourth quarter. Gets his helmet. He turns around. He's like, "Oh, bleep," because Payne went back in.
Yeah,
That's what it is, right? Lazaro is the Osweiler trying to get that throne in his
Yeah.
favor.
not exactly the reference I was looking for, but
All right, but quickly, KGP plays Party Crashers, rematch of the playoff game from winter season, which came down to the last play where Fred Dupuis got sacked by Julien Payement, and that was it. And we know the rest is history. KGP winning that championship. I wanted to see Fred minimize his mistakes. Can Fred lock in and really?
That's the thing, though. That's KGP. You have they just execute all the time, right? Like Nothing they do is particularly special, but they're insanely difficult to stop. And Fred Dupree, at his best, looks like he's one of the top QBs in FPF. And then he has the games where it falls apart, right? And he went through most of last season not falling apart, to his credit. Most of last season, he looked like one of the best quarterbacks in FPF. And then come playoff time, it just wasn't that. And so I think KGP, just the high level of execution, we can't say enough about it. They're going to run out of divisions to move up to at some point.
They might be in their own division by like
yeah, they might. Division KGP.
Yeah.
You know,
just
and
them.
you know, they look, they're playing the top of the top. You know, they did lose handily to Mokan, no problems, right? So like it's clear.
Names.
Sorry, buddy. MKMP. But you know, I think Party Crash is more a team about their level.
How healthy is going to be Anthony Breezeball for this game?
Well, that's the
Because
thing.
If he's not healthy, that really anchors their offense down. And even though they have Fit Ferrand on the roster, who I love a lot as a receiver.
That catch in the finals was stupid.
It's stupid crazy. It was anyway. But if they don't, and Emile Taillefer as well is a good receiver. But that Breezeball Taillefer Ferrand tripod is a tough trio, which would be much more problematic for that KGB defense trying to contain those three guys if Fred has all three healthy, ready to roll.
Yeah. Yeah, it's look, if Breezeball's fully healthy, you know, there's a slight edge probably with Party Crashers, but again, KGP, it's the thing with them is it's not one guy. It's the way that offense can attack in different ways and really just make you have a tough time out.
It's like torture.
Yeah.
It's like Chinese water torture, right? The drips coming on your forehead.
Yeah,
they
constantly, and there's
you can be up on
unrelenting.
them by 2 scores, and they can come back and beat you
Yeah,
by 3.
they're infuriating.
That's a game I've circled that I can't wait to see. Well, I won't be there for it, but I can't wait to hear about it. If Party Crashers can overcome KGP, and
I'm there that day.
So you get to watch it. Then
Yeah, it's between my 2 games.
There you go.
I'll
7
watch
and
it.
9 exactly. It is now time for
Nope.
Games.
Co-ed 2.
Oh, we did co-ed 2 though.
No, we didn't.
I thought we did co-ed 2.
What did we talk about in co-ed?
You're running the show, man.
You can put on the script.
I think in co-ed 2 we only talked about. No,
I apologize. I went off Iggy's co-ed questions. That's my.
we only talked about Lori Willette's stats in co-ed 2.
Yeah,
The
sorry
rest
about
of
that.
it, the rest of the
I apologize.
I kept putting in the chat
Oh my.
that we haven't done co-ed 2.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have my
I know.
Facebook on. Sorry about that.
Iggy has seen it, and the Eagle has seen it, but
My bad. Sorry, I didn't realize.
Co-ed 2 of the week.
I apologize for that.
We're
Sorry.
we're running a little long, so let's we'll cover it a little bit. We'll spend some more time on it next week, of course.
No, we'll give it its due wrap here now. Okay, so
Yeah.
here, co-ed 2 coming up. Right now, we see it as you speak that there's already 4 teams at 3+ wins, which I think is great for this division. That creates that parity within the top 4. But in the bottom half, we have Blue Wave, Gorillas, Iced Out. Are those teams anywhere in that discussion of the top 4?
I think Gorillas and Iced Out are gonna have a tough time. Blue Wave, oh man, Iced Out's given up so many points, but Blue Wave, they have Gorillas this week, which is a game they can win. The next time they
300 after.
I think maybe Les Princesses is a team. No, not even. Whew. Yeah, there's just a division between the absolute top teams in division and the lowest teams. Les Princesses, they just had some roster inconsistency, so I wonder which version of the roster we'll see week to week. But generally, I think they'll still be better than Blue Wave.
I'll say this piece
Go ahead.
quickly here for Blue Wave. Karianne Auger is an athlete and a half.
Yeah.
She was a baller in basketball playing at Three Rivers during her stage-up career, then went to Laval University, distinguished career down there. She's off to a flying start with 2 touchdowns in 5 games, 14 catches.
Yeah. Her and Maryse Paquette are creating a lot of difficulty.
If I'm teams, look, the poaching's not as common because, you keep within your crew most of the time here. But if I'm a team in a higher tier in the years to come, if she sticks around, Karianne Auger is a player that I would get because she's an athlete that can adapt. She's a high IQ athlete out there that can play well with anyone out there.
Jonathan Cantin has been good on defense for them. Passing, he's been safe, but they haven't really scored enough. They held 300s down to just 13 points, which is impressive, but they only scored 12, right? That's going to be an issue for them. You would have expected a little more in this game. Some scorekeeper didn't really understand what targets are apparently.
Well, what happened? Is there an issue with targets?
Every receiver had 100% catch rate, but Jonathan Cantain was 9 for 20. So unless he was just throwing balls away all game long.
Incomplete target of the receiver,
Yeah.
right? That's still an issue with some of the scorekeepers.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
We will eventually. Maybe by 2025 we will.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
That's it, though.
But yeah, so 300s was a good competition for them. I wonder if they face them again in 2 weeks. I wonder if they can sort of flip the script and just be a little bit more efficient and win the game. So
Yeah.
maybe they get 2 in a row here, and that would they already lost the Gorillas. So I don't know. It's tough. I like them, but I do think there's a bit of inexperience for them at this point.
Sneaky Snakes though are a team that's still in that conversation at 3-2. They waxed Gorillas by 41-0 here, but they got Les Princesses coming up, and then the Gorillas again iced out 300s. They do have some games that they can win and really turn the tables around to be maybe a 5 to 6, if not 7-win team going towards the end of the year.
Yeah, look, they got a lot of very useful two-way players like Julien Preux, Marie-Lou Cote-Noël. They're players that can play both sides. I like overall what they've done, that they're spreading the ball around. Marie-Lou Cote leads the team in targets in 24, but not far behind are people like Alexandra Van den Bosch, David Gaumont, Julien Preux. They're getting everybody involved, which is not always common in FPF. So whether it's been Dave Brisson or Laurent Lapointe, that seems to be the game plan. And I know Laurent Lapointe wasn't as effective at quarterback, but both quarterbacks completed over 67% of their passes.
Right.
So that's how you do that, right? You do that by using all the parts of your offense, and that's what they've done. So Sneaky Snakes, they're going to be solid. I don't know if they're really the top tier of the division, like we expect from 300's Kiss My End Zone to be. But defensively they've been solid, and they've done enough offensively to sort of separate themselves.
Fair enough. It is now time for
Games of the Week.
Longest segment of the show.
I mean, yeah, but it's
no,
always
it's
the
not
longest
as
segment of
much.
the show.
That's like the winter season, right?
Hopefully we actually have less games than usual, though, because we're not going to have games on Sunday, right?
But yeah, a reminder: there are no games for St. Jean Baptist weekend, so we're off Sunday, back on it Monday, and then Canada Day as well. Same application. We're off Sunday, back on Monday, so there is a weekend off for the athletes to enjoy with their family and friends.
There we go.
And happy St. Jean Baptist to those who are going to celebrate this Friday.
So we're going to start in Co-Ed 1 with the Justice League versus Easy Fun.
Easy W.
Easy Fun is the team that's playing. Not Easy W.
Oh, Easy
Easy
Fun.
W
Sorry.
would win that game easily.
Sorry, Easy Fun. Sorry.
All right, we're going to go Women's Division, Les Petites Miettes versus Red Nation.
Give me LPM.
I'm going to go with Red Nation because they need to get this win.
And then doubleheader, Red Nation, Villa.
I'm going to say Red Nation need to get this win.
I think they lose to Villa.
All right.
Well, there's no consequences to what we say, so.
No.
Division E, the Penetrators, Brewers.
Penetrators.
Scranton Stragglers, TB Elite.
Scranton, yeah.
Cavalier de Rohan, QB Roulette.
Well, if these,
Rohan needs this win.
the problem is they go with one quarterback this game, so I think we're going to have to give it to Rohan.
QB Roulette.
Big Fat Bats, the Praetorian Guard.
The Roman bodyguards.
Praetorian Guard.
Magnetos, Sizzle.
Magnetos.
Yeah, Magnetos.
Mountain Goats, Big Fat Bats.
Big fat bats.
BFB.
Cavalier de Rohan, Minky FT.
Minky
Minka.
FT.
Les Petites Carottes, Brewers.
The Carrots.
Yeah.
And Minky FT, Mountain Goats.
FT.
Same.
All right, Division D, Ghosts, 4th and Schlong.
4th and Schlong.
Just a reminder that these picks might be different from the ones in my article. So 4th and Schlong.
Glory Boys, former All-Stars.
Glory Boys.
Team Timbo, Peerless Scared.
Timbo.
Wide Open Bar,
Peerless card, by the way.
Mad Dogs.
Sorry, you said who?
Wide Open Bar, Mad Dogs.
Go Mad Dogs.
Mad Dogs.
Threat level midnight, V-Town.
V-Town.
Had a good night with JD Jolie at
did, yeah.
the wedding, but unfortunately, I think
He
I gotta
bailed
go
early,
V-Town.
no?
Yeah, well, he has a pregnant wife,
Oh, okay.
so he had to leave early in the morning.
Yeah.
So congrats to them, by the way, and their
Yeah, it was nice.
upcoming birth of their second
It was
child.
fun at the table.
Yeah,
It was fun
good
at the
times.
table. Good times.
So you're taking V-Town.
Yeah,
Yeah.
V-Town.
Okay. Replacements, primetime.
Prime time.
I'm going to go primetime, yes.
La Cité des Jetons, wide open bar.
Jeton.
Jeton, I think they recover their offensive prowess.
Selwyn Old Boys, Trap Stars.
This is going to be a good game.
Nope. Trap stars by a lot.
I take Trap Stars, but I think some Old Boys will put up some numbers.
Bad
L-
numbers.
Late Team Timbo.
Team Timbo.
Timbo.
Primetime, Undertakers.
Tricky, but I'll go with Undertakers.
Tricky, but I agree with Mo.
Killer Rays, Dirty Dogs.
Rays.
Raise.
All right. Division C, Les Montagnards, Beer Belly Brigade.
Montagnard.
Montagnard.
Vultures, Les Montagnards.
Vultures.
Beer Belly Brigade, the Infantry.
Infantry. I think they pick it up.
I don't
They
like
need
it.
to win. They're 1-2. They need this win. They need this win. back.
Doesn't mean you get it though. I need $1
think-
million.
Well, you guys were.
I need it.
You guys were lavishing out on the weekend there, so let's, you guys could have had
That's why
that.
we need $1 million.
You guys could have gone across the street to the casino and won a million.
I need to pay that hotel bill. So
Yeah, I'm picking infantry on this one.
same. But I don't like it.
Ravens, 2 Inches Gang.
Ravens.
Ravens.
Air Force One, Hot Sauce Sports.
I can't pick it, so Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
I'll go with HSS.
One Step Closer, Blitzed Buds.
Blitz Buds.
BB.
All right, and then we have Hot Sauce Sports, Beer Belly Brigade.
Can't pick it. Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
Yeah, I'll go with the hot sauce.
Hot Sauce Sports, Blitz Buds.
Can't pick it. Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
Blitz Buds.
Les Montagnards, the Infantry.
Talk about you playing 3 games?
3 games like 4 days.
Holy sleep. All right, next game up.
Montagnard, the Infantry.
Infantry.
Montagnard.
Division B, brand new Moretti crime family.
This is gonna be fascinating.
Brand new.
Ready, crime family.
Silent Ticklers, Mangoose.
Ticklers.
Mangoose needs a win.
So because they need it, they
I
get
need
it.
it. Yeah, I go with them.
And Thor's Hammer, Mangoose.
Mangoose now needs a win because they lost this. No, they won.
Thor's hammer.
So they don't need it. So Thor's hammer. I agree.
hammer.
Thor's hammer.
Thor's hammer.
Because they don't need it.
All right, we're going to go Division A, Party Crashers, KGP.
Who needs it?
KGP.
KGP, baby.
And Party Crashers, Mocons, Mo Problems.
Mo Cons.
MKMP.
Yeah.
And then last and definitely not forgotten and certainly not least, we have ourselves Coed 2, which I didn't scroll down.
Which we
Which
Blue
we- oh,
Wave.
We did.
Blue Wave Gorillas,
Yeah, give me Blue Wave. Why
I go
not?
Blue Wave, yeah.
and Kiss My End Zone, 3 Hunas.
Kiss my hands up.
Yeah, man zone.
And that's going to be our games of the week. Reminder to all of the team captains, submit your rosters. Submit your rosters properly with the correct names for people.
And
Do not play with players who are playing on other teams in the
Yeah.
same division.
also, don't try and hide players. We catch you all the time. Every time.
Which is very, yeah, it's embarrassing. Quickly here, games of the week is up and running. Eagle? The poll. I want to set up the poll. That's why.
Yes. I mean, actually, you know what? That's a good question. I don't see them going up. I know
Yeah.
Chris Rive is filming them, but I don't know if there are people are voting on them.
That's why I was trying to figure out. Anyway,
I don't know.
if there's
I
a
don't
poll,
run that
votes.
program.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Votes.
a media program.
Yeah. If there's a poll, vote.
Ask the guy who runs the
If
media.
there's a poll, vote. That's what I'm trying.
Why are you not asking the guy who runs the media?
I'm
He's
just
literally
reminded
right
by
here.
saying if there's a poll, vote.
I vote on other polls, Eagle.
Is there a poll? I didn't see
Vote.
the poll.
Vote.
Yeah.
All right, magic words, please.
It's St. Jean tomorrow. This Friday. Yeah, tomorrow because this show's on Thursday. It's St. Jean tomorrow.
No, it's Friday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh,
Wait.
yes. Tomorrow,
Wait.
yeah. Yes. Happy Saint Jean Baptiste, everyone.
Now say it in the official language.
What is it?
Pas Saint Jean.
Oh, yes.